Today we crown a national champion. Welcome everybody to the 2025 Scholastic Nationals powered by League OS. Yesterday we spent 14 hours of VALORANT to spend 2 teams towards this grand finals, 2 tickets, 2 golden tickets. Now available towards these teams is a spot in that trophy case. They won turn. My name is Llama77, joined by your boy Q up here in the booth. And Q, yesterday was a great day of VALORANT. I have a feeling today's going to be even better.
Yeah, we saw a lot of kind of a mixed bag of different games, right? We saw a couple perfect maps, we saw a couple 13-1s, we saw a couple of overtimes, and pretty well everything in between. But what we were guaranteed were to have 2 of the best when it comes to Scholastic National VALORANT being able to square off here. And, well, these 2 teams definitely delivered. Owasso, Cedar Rapids, Kennedy. It's still too close to call, I think, but it should be a banger. I'm expecting a 3-map, sort of 2, maybe even 3 overtime sort of deal.
I'm hoping so. I'm hoping we get to go all 3, hoping to see we get as much VALORANT as possible here today, because that is what it is all about. We've got to give a huge thank you as well to Maryville University, where the kids are actually playing live and in person from, and that's not the only person we have to thank. We've also got to thank League OS for helping facilitate all of these matches. League OS houses an amazing platform for your students to play on, whether that be the 10 different high school leagues or the 20 different collegiate leagues. 50,000 players play on League OS, and you know, they are so good about hosting, managing, and everything from streaming to the platform where your games run on.
Part of that's just thanks to the LOS portal, right? Which is a recruiting site where you can search over 600 colleges, Llama, by what games they play, where they're at, and what degree programs they offer, while colleges can also subscribe in order to search for their best student prospects based on their competitive and academic performance. I mean, twice a year, we have League OS, which identifies the top 100 prospects in its portal from around the country and invites them to showcase their skills for college recruiters at the portal combine events, one in January and, oh, would you look at that, one in June. We've got that going on elsewhere in the facility as well. So, saw the first one take place at the Ohio State University Esports Lab now this summer. We're here in St. Louis, Missouri. Had to make sure I was repping for the cause. You know what I'm saying? Excited to get down into it, though. We're at the Maryville University Esports Performance Center. It's the grand finals now. 2 of the best squaring off. Let's go ahead and head into map number 1 here, Llama, where it's going to be Lotus. Let's go ahead and take a look at the agent select as we get started.
Also want to mention, even though we had our Rocket League and Overwatch Nationals a few weeks ago, HyperX also stepping in to give away some prizes to the first place team, some extra gear to grab home with along with those trophies. So as you mentioned though, Agent Select, we're already hopping on in for Owasso. They're going to start on the attacking side of Lotus, and they're bringing this aggressive composition. They've got the Gecko, they've got the Rays, they've got everything they could want to try and get a map 1 victory.
I feel like one thing that we saw from Owasso pretty consistently throughout the course of both these group stage as well as that playoff stage. 1, they don't stray too far away from the meta, and 2, they do like to play really, really fast. The person I'm really looking forward and looking at when I talk about playing fast is TTV Tsespedi, a player who we've seen really leads the charge when it comes to those first bloods. Does a great job of opening things up for the rest of the team, especially when they are on that attacking side, which is where Owasso finds themselves as we get ready to head off to Lotus. So going to be interested to see just how high of a benchmark they set in the first half.
Really played so well throughout a lot of the maps yesterday, and of course trying to bring that over towards today. We get to look at Cedar Rapids as well. They're going to be matching the Clove, but other than that, it's nothing too similar. I mean, it's very different terms of information gathering, where it looks like it's going to be the Gecko for Owasso, where they go forward with some of those utility pieces, grab the information from visuals, and then overall try and lock it down with Fies. Of course, Cedar Rapids are starting on this defensive side, and Lotus is where we will go to start off the day. But Lotus is not the only map we have up and available. Split is going to be map number 2, and if needed, we'll go to Haven for the decider.
Yeah, I wasn't surprised to see Lotus split. I would say kind of surprised at, because I do believe I feel like we only saw it on stream once yesterday throughout the course of the 14 hours that you were talking about at the start of things. Haven, of course, a tried and true that it does feel like come VALORANT time, so not surprised to see that kind of floated and left there as the decider. I anticipate that we will be seeing all 3 But of course, every single map starts out the same here, Llama. Every player on playing field right now gets to start out with a pistol in their hand. Whether it's a classic, whether it will be a ghost, it's all about having a more even playing field to get the first round started.
Let's do it. Let's have ourselves a national championship here for these two teams. For Cedar Rapids, for Owasso, both trying to bring home the glory and a trophy for their team and hometown. Make sure you're rooting on your team if you're watching on either our YouTube stream, Twitch stream, or live and in person. It's an early entry into the B-side here for Owasso, and the Rams have got a plan.
Kind of surprised to see nobody from the Cedar Rapids side over towards B. Generally, you'll see at least one player floated there towards the middle, maybe feeling confident when it comes to the retake. However, Vision has one in their sight. They'll be able to put it down. Mordekaiser also going to be able to find one here, but unfortunately
one enemy remaining.
For Owasso, they've seemed to have lost the grasp of things. Now it's going to be Vision, the last one left alive, to try to prevent the defuse.
The 3v1 here for Vision. Oh, shots are great. The ping is not going to be there. Some good damage. It's up to half already. That defuse is held if it wasn't for Bob Villain's great kill. And we'll see who they end up giving the defuse to for that extra ultimate orb. It will be the breach. Clarence with the team clutch will send Cedar Rapids up one first.
I know it's something small, but it's like, bro, we've already gotten this for that. We've gotten everybody off the table. Someone hit the defuse. Why are we letting that thing get to under a second? It's round one. My nerves are already through the roof. I can only imagine what it's like for the 10 of our players that are out there at Lotus here for the moment. Cedar Rapids takes the pistol. Quite often we have seen where teams throughout the course of yesterday were able to double that down. We see it often when it comes to VALORANT, if we're being perfectly honest. The question becomes, can Owasso kind of go against the grain here? It looks like they are potentially looking for another quick push into B. Let's see if second time's a charm.
Like this time around, it's going to be not only a camera setup there, but a tripwire to try and guard off that entryway. Of course, as you head into this round number 2, you do get a little bit more fun. So you can either spend that on some weaponry, or if you are the Cypher, you can spend that on more of your utility case. Here for Owasso, it looks like they want to bend over towards C. There's going to be a few players gathering around the wonderful area. And for Bob Villain and crew, they're going to hold them off with that presence. And that patience, we'll see what it does.
Here early, it is patience that is being shown from Owasso. First potentially looked towards B, then looked over towards C, and now it's going to be the long rotation over towards A. The only problem with that at this point, Llama, with only 50 seconds on the clock, as much as you're starting to invest in this, you probably don't get a chance to pivot, especially when Clarence is going to turn the corner and put the Spetty down. Able to put Mordekaiser as well as Texi as well. Call it a 3K to open up round number 2. It looks like Cedar Rapids have come to play.
Last player standing.
Absolutely incredible.
Spike down
it's 4.
A.
It's just one
30
more.
seconds
Trying
left.
to find the ace and the 5-stackerino. Shots from behind. Give it to him. No. Clarence gets pistol away on the attempt of the knife. And LeBron James with the cleanup. Cedar Rapids, a nice little 2-0 start for themselves. I think most importantly, just showing they can get Clarence on board, who I feel like always plays such a solid gameplay. Isn't always at the top of the leaderboard, but has those standout clutch moments.
See, as far as heading into round number 3, can they continue to perform on some big clutch moments? Who's going to be able to step up when really called upon here early? You know, we talked yesterday a lot about the word momentum, but that was a lot of those best of one. Talking about these series that do go a little longer. Now these first maps, I feel like carry a little bit more weight, especially if you can really dominate, dictate the pace, which is exactly what Cedar Rapids is hoping to do. However, Trifle is going to hand over for Owasso as they're now going to get access onto C after 2 quick frags. Spike should be going down here in just a moment as well. It'll be 3v5 on the retake.
Spike planted.
Like to Spetty's positioning too. I mean, you've got a little bit of a high ground advantage to try and guard away from some of the quick pushes that can fly through. I will say the health bars are not 100% up to snuff for Spetty and Texi from LeBron James. They are also a little bit low as that DC is going to get destroyed. The entry is denied. The headshot is there from Mordekaiser. And now the work around the edge. Wingman is searching.
Last player
Get
standing.
that stun actually.
Flawless.
It looks into the flawless. And Owasso strike themselves back in.
You yourself a point on the board, and more importantly, you're able to carry all 5 rifles
Now we win.
into round number 4. We'll be talking a lot over the course today.
Retrieving
Maybe we
wall.
have some friends or some parents who maybe
Now we
aren't
win.
too familiar with Valorant. Economy, a very big thing when we talk about those credits on that far side of your scoreboard there. You tend to collect more of them the better you perform over the course of the rounds. So when you have to invest less to be able to rebuy rifles, it means you can start stacking that economy, which helps you into those further rounds. So a big round there in round number 3 for Owasso. Let's see if they can double that thing down.
Tie it up here. Of course, for Owasso, they are on this attack. This has a little bit more.
Spike down.
Instead,
One
it's just
enemy
bodies
remaining.
falling on the edge of mound. Clarence double kills, and it's only one member of this
Spike's here.
Rams offensive crew left. Weapons scattered awry, and so is that spike straight on the ground.
Vision has been able to pull off some miraculous plays thus far here this weekend. This one, though, is going to be quite tough. You can always take the, well, usual approach there through C over by mounds, but you can see both angles kind of being covered here. Instead, going to push the long way through B, is going to find Bad Kid here, however. Not going to be able to hit the headshots. Are either player, so both will back down. Central fault line looking to get sent through the wall here by Clarence. Instead, opts to put the rifle right back in hand. It's only 30 HP when you include the shield. LeBron James sitting on full health as well, who's going to be able to hit the shot once Vision puts down their homie Clarence. It's 3-1 here for Cedar Rapids.
Alright, lucky socks.
Combo
Don't
flip
bail me
there.
now.
Takes care of the Arcros on the wall, then takes care of the head of their opponent. That's a huge round to gonna get back after you had given over a flawless rifle round now. Albeit you did lose some bodies, so for Cedar Rapids, it's not gonna be perfection. You're not sitting on a loss bonus or anything like that. But it's a great start. I mean, it's 3 rounds on the defensive side of Lotus. We have seen a lot of teams struggle on this defensive side just because there's 3 sites and it makes it so easy for the attackers to rotate.
I feel like that's quite a common occurrence that we do see across the 3 site maps for sure. However, yesterday we saw a lot of teams say, hey, you know what? When it comes to defense, we know what we're doing. And Owasso was one of those teams. So I don't know if you're worried about it just quite yet when it comes to having the slower start. I think the other thing, too, is realizing once rifles have come into play, you're technically currently 1-1, 8 more rounds to still be able to bounce this thing back. You just got to take it round by round, and it starts here in round number 4 over at Mounds. Jude the Dude could potentially help lead the way, as well as with TTV Tispetti, who we had talked about earlier, was able to quite often find those first bloods for the squad in the course of both group stages and that playoff bracket as well, finding it there, but then they put it back over towards Z.
Kid has to pop the cage in their own protection, and a big part of that was the metal just missed. The overall utility from the close didn't connect on that B-foot. Couldn't really get the chunk down. It's going to be Texie with the flamethrower. All players close by for Cedar Rapids. But can they chunk in enough? They've got the fake out on the middle of sight as that kid their first headshot. And it's already an ultimate. Rolling Thunder to send everybody airborne here. Tex and the rest of the team flying by the seat of their pants. But the primary jam for just a moment from Clarence. Ult for ult here. Back in for Texie. Headshot goes through. That kid goes
Last
in.
player
Only
standing.
gets one though, as Texie's triple kill starts to put them down. And Clarence has nothing to do with the fight.
Now, remind me, that was Clarence's Rolling Thunder that we saw roll in, right? And it seemed like nobody from the defense was able to buy any additional space off of the back of that when it came to retake. It felt almost like a little bit of hesitation, which ended up coming back to bite them there. And it was indeed Owasso who was able to capitalize. They held their ground, put another round on the board, and oh, look at this. We're going back and forth, Mama.
It's also that Visalt is just so devastating to sit in. As much as you can use the secondaries to try and take some space, they are nothing in comparison to what those full rifle and shields look like. So great counter ultimate overall for Owasso. We'll see what they can do with one more ultimate on the board in the terms of that not dead yet. You said it, we're going back and forth as it should be here in our finals.
Where are you?
Question becomes, do they continue with what's been working? They've been finding quite a bit of success over towards that C site. It's a quick peek by Mordekaiser and Texie over towards C, but they don't want to give away too much information. And well, they're going to actually pivot their way back over towards C to join up with the rest of the squad here at Mounds. It does look like the longer that it does take them to start their exec, it's actually being read over on the side of Cedar Rapids Kennedy. One player already rotated over, and not just that, but we've also got LeBron James. Well, here it is, everybody going. It's the satchel play the showstopper here from this Betty, able to find Bad Kid. Trying to hide away in the smoke, is going to be able to at least stay standing here for now and wait for the rest of the team to come over and help
planted.
Waterfall there, look for it. Those Thorns are going to deny him. It's going to be a send-in from spawn side, which they really have lost all control over. So it's going to be a takedown with LeBron James. Texie is on a tear these last 2 rounds. Doesn't check left. Clarence only gets the one back. It's going to be a takedown very quickly. Even with Owasso using that not dead yet, they'll use it for some economy, tying it up 3-3. And, you know, that could have changed a lot had Toro had something better than a Classic. But as soon as you lose Bad Kid there, you just lose so much space.
Yeah, it really hurts to have that first frag go against you, and especially when it's off the back of an ult. It takes you down so quick. It's not like you have a chance to respond with shots if you're in a back and forth exchange with 2 Vandals, right? You get hit by the showstopper. It's, well, game over. I think the important thing, though, is when we look at the econ moving into round number 7, it's a huge round here for Cedar Rapids Kennedy. They will be able to, for the most part, fully invest. Clarence is sitting with a half a shield as opposed to the full shield. But if they do drop this round, 3 very easily turns into 5 because they're going to have to save in round number 8.
The situation isn't quite great. It looks like the Nightfall, though, could be huge here in this round, or LeBron James could be even bigger. That last round was able to earn himself just a little bit of offense. This time we'll back up to the backside of B as the rest of the team kind of pursues this B location as well, giving up a little bit on the A space, sort of reading what this Owasso team wants to do, and reading that they want to go to B. We'll put 3 players here.
Everybody rotating there as well for Cedar Rapids. I mean, everyone pretty well within striking distance, other than maybe you can argue Clarence, who is over on that A long side, which, funny enough, is exactly where we will be seeing the focus pivot here for Owasso. They're moving their way towards rubble now. Clarence is nice and tucked away over by this door.
30 seconds left.
Towards B here. The Roomba not gonna find him. Clarence, however, gets found by Tespetti. Quickly turns this thing into a 4v4 Bob. Villain turns the corner, gonna be able to find 1. Can you make it 3? Yes, indeed. Away.
The dude wants their own
10
play.
seconds left.
Headshot back. Let the silence eat them alive, and it isn't going to be enough for the plan, but it'll be enough to get that Thrasher up and online. Nice little long-range angle, though. Cedar Rapids, you talk about earning their way back into a round where, you said it, had they lost, it could have been a little bit devastating, but they won it, and they're back on top.
Good news for Owasso is they had been stacking economy on their side. We had seen a couple of times where they were able to carry over 3, 4 rifles into the following round, and that kind of reflects in that credit count as we speak now. I think the big thing, though, we look at moving into these further rounds, we're far enough where we're going to start seeing more and more ults available. 3 available over on the side of Cedar Rapids, and I think importantly is the not dead yet could allow for them to essentially have a 6th player, right? You had that second life over there on the side of your of LeBron James. Meanwhile, you know, you've got some stuff available to be able to create space for you, like the ult for Mordekaiser, but I just don't know if they're going to be able to get as much value, at least as what's available as Cedar Rapids currently.
On their plate, it's one where also you don't want to super over-invest. It's going to be a longer half. We're only 7 rounds in. Still a few more to go. Big shells and Thrasher, it's a great combination because you can take down those tripwires, make sure nothing is barring you, and then jump straight on back for a second Thrasher usage. Really love that early play to clear out some space, take everything, and get this plan going. However, there's some teams on the other side, and for Bad Kid, takes down Wingman.
That's the idea, trying to send Wingman out to do the dirty work while you secure the site, but did clear the backside. That meant what Bad Kid was able to do. Man out, now 1 enemy back in the corner. Bob Villain comes into play, finds 3, and it's 5-3 here for Cedar Rapids.
This time it's them with the counter ultimate. Early on in the first half, it was Owasso that popped the big old metal garden. This time it's the Nightfall comboed with the Dimensional Drift. After you get the Dimensional Drift going, you just have paranoia laid into the minds of your opponents, and then once they're checking behind them, that Nightfall just eliminates any sort of sound cues that would help them out. It's a great flawless round, a great ultimate usage round as well for Cedar Rapids, as they now go up by 2.
Seen thus far that neither team's really been able to string together a long run of rounds. If Cedar Rapids were able to find a third here, I do believe that was the longest lead that we have seen. However, Jude the Dude will open up the very early pick. Clarence has the option to play around this door, maybe slow down the push over towards A, although it looks like maybe the decision itself is to self-pivot here. Not that they were necessarily looking at too much resistance, but figure that the defensive rotation has already kicked in. Only problem is it's been read over by Cedar Rapids. Kelly, you've already got 2 players pivoting their way over towards C.
They'll be quite quick enough here. I mean, through Waterfall, they're going to be smoked off from the Clove. It's a nice thing for either side. Even if your Clove is dead, keep those smokes going. Of course, Clove's still alive here for Owasso, and they've got
Spike
all
planted.
5 players standing as that spike hits the dirt. You wonder for Bad Kid and crew, how much do you have left in the bank? How much is it worth it to actually go for this? And because of where that spike is planted as well, they can just play safe towards Mound. Sure, they're leaving 2 in sight for a super nice little bait play to spend on the top of the box. It's a headshot there from Toro. Bad Kid's dead. Dizzy goes in, and it's a clearance from all of the vision line.
One enemy
As
remaining.
Wingman almost gets the stun. Clarence gets their headshot, but needs 3 more. Makes the defuse, gets the second headshot, but it's the ramp that equalizes it back for just a 1-round lead.
Back and forth as the pendulum swings. I mentioned neither team has been able to string together more than 2 rounds in a row. Curious to see the brakes pumped here. I'm curious if there was something that they saw in that last round, whether as a potential strat that they do want to run based off of what the opposition has been giving them on defense, or if maybe just the comms weren't quite as clear as they were hoping for in that last round. Because I feel like, I mean, 4-5 isn't typically a place where we see a timeout called.
It definitely isn't usual, but I think it's also, you gotta realize, I mean, this is the grand finals. Every single round, every single moment matters, and when you look on the board, it's still 2 ultimates for Cedar Rapids. I think they're losing a couple of these picks early. I think the rotation, albeit they were trying to get into sight, was a little bit slower than they would have wanted. Would have loved to add those 2 players to try and deny that spike. So just talk it over. See what you want to improve on. See what the communication is. And give yourself a little bit of a moment to breathe. Because we said it yesterday. You played 14 hours of Valorant. Well, most only played about 8 or 9. But still, you played a lot of Valorant. So getting the time to breathe here in this grand finals is ever important.
Let's go ahead and get ready to head back into it. Does the timeout buff help out Owasso here as they do look to try and tie things up? We will have full rifles on either side. 2 ults available on both sides of the matchmaking here as well. Of course, when you look over towards the side of Bad Kid, who does have that neural test, so much information to be given. But you mentioned before how we had seen Cedar Rapids giving up a lot of these early picks. Well, same is the case here in round 10.
It's just a ability to notice those similar positionings. Owasso say, if you put somebody late, every time we're going to engage on that. Engagement,
Dropping a
the rocket launcher to hit big. It's going to put away all the rest of Cedar Rapids and finally clearing out the showstopper, although it doesn't give them a kill. It does
Spike
give them
planted.
a ton of space.
Spike is down.
them
That
down.
does mean now Cedar Rapids has to worry about the clock. LeBron James sitting up on the high side does have Clarence right behind him. Bad Kid looking to turn the corner, gonna be able to find one. Looks to try and find the second, can't quite. Will use that neural step. Steps out back behind, away from cover, just a little too early. Into the line of sight of
enemy
Betty by
remaining.
1, make it 2. That's 3 overall in the round. And now it's all left to LeBron James sitting on an overheal at least for the moment, but has to worry about crossfire from 3 separate players. Here from Owasso, tries to take the 1v1 versus Betty, looks to try to get up off of the ropes, not gonna be able to escape away. That's going to be a tie ball game here in round 10.
It is a costly round number 10, as Owasso will lose a few players towards the spike at the end of it. But you know what? Despedi is having a nice game already, leading the lobby in terms of kills, and the economy's so bad, Jude the dude can't even buy a classic. Okay, we're good enough on the back end.
Dude, gonna be able to get at least a rifle from the homie, it does look like. We'll keep that same investment around, and well, at least it's rifles all the way around as well. Both teams, yeah, it should be able to do their best in this following round. But Cedar Rapids is at that point where Econ is starting to tip once more. We had talked about the importance of being able to string together rounds in a row. We will start to see that reflected in that economy if Owasso is able to put another one on the board. The paint shells over towards Bob Villain, forces him out of the corner. Jude the dude puts him down.
Massive headshot, and again, it's that focus of positioning. It's not multiple players from Cedar Rapids that are swinging that. They're swinging that dry 1v4 to try and get something early. And it's just not falling. I mean, it's not even there with the utility. It's not comboed with anything. So Owasso, again, earn themselves a player advantage here early. They're going to break through the breakable. The lane is opened up on James, and the shots are no good. Despedi's got the headshot. It's a 5v3 lead. My man's got the plan.
He's too fast. Try and track that, buddy. Quickly gets on the site, able to turn around and hit some flicks. Now it's going to be 3v5 on the retake. Toro trying the best that they can to storm off these players as far back as they can as they do look to enter onto this platform. Let's go over towards Texi. Puts the Texi down, but Texi not quite dead yet. I don't think Toro heard them behind. Doesn't matter as Mordekaiser is going to be the one who's able to put two more players down. It's going to be our first lead, if I'm not mistaken.
Last round before the switch.
A strong swing as well. I mean, they are able to take 3 in a row. We're up 4-3, but I could be wrong on my math here this early Wednesday morning.
It was 4-3 for Cedar. Looking at the scoreboard there, it looks like. Right.
Yeah, they didn't have the lead. Sorry, 3-3. That's what I said. Early morning math does not compute in my head. So a nice lead here for the Rams with only 1 round left to go. And the good news is we don't have a ton of ults to spend either. It's just the single not dead yet.
That come into some big value potentially for a squad that's hoping to be able to walk away from what we had mentioned earlier, a map that I think a lot of people expect to be at least a little more favored towards the defense. Can you at minimum walk away with a tie, especially after starting up 3-1? That's what Cedar Rapids is looking to do here. Meanwhile, for Owasso, you wouldn't mind moving over to the defensive half of this map with a 2-round lead. So don't be surprised if both teams do take this a little bit more cautiously here. In specific, talking about Owasso, we've seen them moving fast in the past. They're still pretty well all defaulted back by that spawn.
Really trying to, again, bait out Bob Villain to go over aggressive. Battle into this. Dizzy's destroyed, teleport back to safety. Bob Villain stays alive. That's important because it enters into this site. Those close smokes makes it a little easier to get on in. The jump in though from Despedi. Bob Villain, everybody's got killed. A double-double for both. And now it's the clear out. Full house. Ender and Dyer from Cedar Rapids.
Everyone gets put down.
Sides.
It is indeed a half-time tie here in map number 1. And I'm just hoping that's a good indicator of what we're in for over the course of the next 2.5, hopefully, maps here to start our championship. Well, I shouldn't say start for our championship Wednesday here, but we're going to flip the sides here. I got to ask you, Llama, as far as for a team that starts on offense on a map, I feel like maybe favors the defense a little bit. I mean, confidence has to be up at least a hair bit going into the half tied up, right?
I think for both teams, yeah. I mean, it's not the end of the world that you have to go into a halftime tied up, and I think for both teams as well, for Owasso, you get to kind of play on this defensive side with the Fies. For Cedar Rapids, you get to play on the offensive side with the Yoru. I think the teams are on their preferred sides right now to try and finish it out. It's all tied up. Let's see what they can do. Pistol round, ever important. try and sway this game towards your way.
Spike
Starting
carrier
off
dead.
big. It's
I
going to
got
be Dexy that
Spike
takes down
down,
LeBron
B.
James with the help of the Vines. The spike is going to be regrabbed by the Yoru, but Dexy's got shot through the smoke. Already doubling up before Bob Villain and Bad Kid trade back. A 2v3. Health bars are low. C-site is open.
C-site is indeed open, and that's where Bob Villain is high stepping two. Knees to chest, baby. Quickly rotating over towards C, and, well, that's going to be the spike going down here in just a moment. I think what's more curious to me is the location of Bad Kid has rotated all the way back through spawn, looking quickly over towards A. Does have the potential to be able to catch this team moving over on a rotate. Shots will be fired, but unfortunately with 22 HP, can't really be too aggressive there.
Bomb
They can
down.
just aggress. They know there's going to be one player maximum on site. Just go, go, go.
Last player
Look it off.
standing.
They'll get the kill from Tespetti, and they're going to hold the Bad Kid to nothing as Dexy picks up the 3K. Owasso, they start off their pistol round and their defensive side with a victory.
Big round, remember for them, they actually started behind in the first half. They're to be able to get that pistol round on the board. Almost feels like things balance out just a little bit here. So again, you can include that with the fact that you started at a tie at halftime. Well, you just got to take this thing round by round. They have that money in the bank to be able to invest up a little bit. 3 SMGs will be in hand along with a Guardian in the hand of Jude the Dude. So should be able to easily turn 7 into 8, but well, we know that Cedar Rapids is going to have other things in mind.
Spread the economy here early. Be exactly what they need on this attacking side, and I love the setup, honestly. You go for a 2-3, you play a little bit passive on towards Mound. Pop the smokes on the other side. You force away that Clove utility by just using some of that speed. Good old fake out will pull away the shear wall, too, so huge pieces of utility already out of the kit. But Owasso, they're on this defensive side for a reason. They're the ones that were able to select this opportunity right here with a 2-stack staring down the entrance towards A.
Dude, trying to hold this angle as tight as possible. Get that little bit of an angle where you can find a heady turning around, but the line of sight now being blocked.
Right
We'll
there.
back down as we do see Cedar Rapids Kennedy will make the play over towards Rubble. Tespetti, though, just kind of right in range here with the Bulldog, and I think for them, almost hoping to give that false sense of security, give no information away and cause them to over-aggress.
He's got that Bulldog headshot. How
30
about
seconds
two?
left.
It's a nice little shutdown here, and everybody's got to lock in. There's 30 seconds left to go. They've still got to clear out Link. They've still got to clear out Tespetti. And Mordekaiser and Jude the Dude make it flawless. Back-to-back rounds here for the Rams.
Flawless does mean that you have the chance to truly bonus up here in round 15. Now, you will see rifles in on the other side. For part of that reason, we will see maybe a reinvestment as far as big shield. That's really all you got to buy. That means if you're able to pull this round off here, you're starting second half in a huge, fast sort of pace for Owasso. So I don't think you necessarily need to force the issue too much here if you're Owasso. I think you feel fine with how things have started, but I mean, you can't ask for much more heading into round 15.
Maybe a scoop of ice cream or something.
With the cherry on top, too?
Cherry on top. I'm a personal fan of the cherry, but Mordekaiser clearly is. Pops Bob Villain to the head, and that's a huge start because that is not only a possible weapon pickup, it is also just so much that nobody's looking for Dexy, who doubles up across the Bulldog. And B site is closed off. The sign says shut down, and Owasso's got a 4v2.
Good here. Owasso has this location of at least one. Bad Kid not backing down either, as well as LeBron James, who currently has possession of the spike. They decide to aggress here towards B, or do they decide to pivot towards C? They're going to at least get the sound notification with the door to cause a little bit of that doubt to the back of the mind. But as we do see Bad Kid completely rotating over towards Mound, it looks like maybe the focus will shift towards C.
It's just Tespetti
30
here.
seconds left.
But as I say that, it's just Tespetti. 1v2. Headshot doesn't come through. The breakable on the low wall. trying to deny this plant as well, trying to deny as many ultimate or build-ups over time if you can. Betty close to the dude there as well. The low HP ball would be
Spike planted.
good.
One
dies.
enemy remaining.
Dude who actually brings in the Guardian and their regen shield.
3 wins versus 1 most of the time unless there's a magical play, especially when you double swing like that and you have the accuracy that we've seen from Owasso all weekend long. We talked about it going into round 15, the potential to be able to bonus heavy. Well, they're going to be able to walk away doing just that. Not only winning the round, but now it's 3 rifles. I don't think any of them came in with rifles, so that's more carried over into round 16. They just continue caking it up over on that Owasso side.
The money situation is going to be pretty terrible from Cedar Rapids. It's how we usually see it, where sure, you have to invest into all those rifles going into round number 3 of a half. But if you don't win it, oh, it sets you back so far here. Nothing in the bank. It is a combination of 400 credits, and it's light shields for everybody.
Yeah, I think that's the big thing is you've got rifles, sure, but the light shields, and then if you drop this round, you're only carrying over 4 credits. A tough situation to be in, and I hate to call rounds must-win this early in a game of Valorant, because let's be honest, there's still time to turn things around, but with the way things are looking, it feels just about a must-win round as you can get here for the Cougars. At least that it can be for around 16. The dudes, we're going to try and hold them off here for now on this push over towards A. And it does look like Cedar Rapids pretty convinced that this is the way.
The jump peaks, though. Nice information gathering, showing off the hops here inside the server. It's a very patient early round here with 50 seconds still to go. And for the Cougars, I want to see what they want to attack from, where they want to go with these light shields, because you want to overwhelm. You don't want to get caught in these realistic quick trades. You don't want to get caught held into the patience. And as they slowly step forward, they're down to 30 seconds to go.
They're going to have to
30
move
seconds left
here soon. Looks like they've broken down that door over and are looking for a pivot over towards B. They did catch the rotation as far as from Owasso looking over towards A. They're going to be able to take down Texi here early as well. They will get slowed down by the phone line, but unfortunately the spike has already gone down. The clock has already started here. Tisbetti looking
Last
to turn
player
the corner
standing.
and put down Toro, but that's going to be it. It's LeBron James with the 3K. It's going to be a first round on the board here in this half for Cedar Rapids.
Can I get a drop?
I mean, they really showed a lot of A presence, and then just rotated in. They said, we've still got the opportunity to play off LeBron James, to play off this pseudo-duelist, and find the way to end up on top. It's 3 players on double-digit kills for both sides. The problem was, we said 400 credits in the bank. We were right about that. All those deaths in the last round for Cedar Rapids make this buy even more shaky.
Yeah, it's like you feel good about the round, and when you're not even able to full buy in the next round, that's when you know that the team you're going up against will punish every single mistake. And it's not a good spot to be in here for now for Cedar Rapids. You gotta start stringing something together. The good news is, it's not like you're just relying on one pop-off player. And I'm not necessarily low-key calling out steady in that, because they are in charge for Owasso, but everyone is collecting up those kills, helping add to that case, at least moving forward here for now. One more time, it does look like Cedar Rapids will at least fake an approach over towards A. I don't think they're quite convinced yet that's the way they want to go, especially as Bob Villain going to be able to take down Vision over towards C, and, well, that's going to give them the green light to pivot.
Possibility to teleport back as well, so it's just going to go aggressive, see how much more they can get. Gets the headshot, teleports out of dodge. And it's a 5v3.
Spike
that was
planted.
also an early Thrasher investment from Owasso. Seeing that Glovial fall to the ground and not get a second usage has got to feel really bad. LeBron James having a game for themselves, and Tisbetti, it looks like the crew just wants to back off. They can't engage through the clove smoke. They even get hit by the metal on their exit out.
I think right here you're just going to look at a full save. You might as well carry over those 2 rifles. You don't want to give any over any extra ult orbs as well. So be a full rotation over towards A here and just try and find themselves a little bit of safety. Is it a fun call? No. Is it the right call? Yeah, it is. You can't really blame them for it.
Still can. I mean, health bar is lowish on the other side, but of course, hindsight always comes in the vision marker at 20-20. And for Owasso, they're still leading, so I don't think they have to panic too much. They get to save a few of these rifles over, and they're working off 2 really big ultimates and also a timeout. So they're going to talk it over on what they want to do. And of course, this timeout brought to you by the LOS Portal. If you're a player that wants to get involved with these nationals or maybe show off your skills to all the colleges, make sure you head over to portal.leagueos.gg.
Interesting call. What again? It says, I mean, yeah, I feel like you've lost a couple of rounds here, but I always feel like you want to save one of those last overtimes for the double-digit point kind of range. You know what I mean? And since you did have that one called relatively early, well, that means now Owasso using their last one here. They're going to have to make sure that they can regather the troops, keep the morale high, just kind of ride it on out from here. I think the important thing that I would imagine they are discussing right now is the importance of this round 18, because if you drop this one, you're not going to be able to quite fully invest into the following round. And just as much as we were talking about Cedar Rapids earlier, who was struggling in that economy department, you don't want to be in that situation once you're either at or near round 20.
No, you want to be locked in, having everything you want to buy. Especially, we've seen it a lot throughout not only yesterday, but all throughout our Valorant watching career. You know, a lot of teams invest for those earlier rounds rather than saying, okay, we'll put all our eggs in the basket around 23 or around 24, because it is scary to eco up right now. Better decision. There are 5 ultimates on the board here, and a fake out doesn't quite catch Tespetti, who almost catches a straggler looking. Instead, it's going to be just a swap of the sides. Okay, Owasso, they say, we'll take over your attacking side spawn, and it looks like Cedar Rapids will say, well, we'll take your sides.
And Vision's not going to quite be able to break down that door enough to slow down
I'm gonna take him out.
that push onto A. So A site completely taken over here by Cedar Rapids, which means the 4-player flank, well, not really going to be able to find anything. And now you're going to have to find a way to spread out and retake A from multiple positions. And because of the fact that we just, have everyone put together, it's hard to do that. Bad Kid will be able to find Vision, which means now the 4 players all together.
Face your fear!
Going to be able to find them first. And now with everyone getting marked into the K, it should make this round a little bit easier.
Last
as
player
the
standing.
dominoes start to fall, and it will be another round on the board for Cedar Rapids.
An incredible another set of patience, and critically, the Rolling Thunder did not hit the top part of that site. It only hit one single player, and then they're like, okay, so what? You got 1 kill. Guess what we have? We have a Nightfall. We're turning off audio. You're coming from the wrong side. Everything is broken apart. It is 3 rounds straight now for Cedar Rapids. They're starting to turn the tide.
Starting to get the momentum when it matters the most within a round. They've gotten 3
Drop
in a
in a
row,
smoke.
and now it's going to be that next buy for Owasso that we were talking about at the top of round 18. If you're Owasso, you just try and find some way, somehow, to make this round expensive. Bob Villain be able to use that dimensional drift to the access onto the
down.
B site. Yo, check him, BC. Sprays through the cage before they're
I
even
know
stepping
exactly
through. Hello, 3K right up the rip
Spike
here
planted.
for Cedar Rapids. It's going to be left to Tespetti as well as Jude the Dude if they want to prevent a 4th straight round.
Asha go down to try and at least guide away some of the damage, but they're actually really trapped here. They don't even have control of their own spawn side for Owasso.
Last player
They don't have the
standing.
HP to do it either. Back hit takes down Tespetti. Jude the Dude doesn't want to go for that further swing out. Cedar Rapids, flawless set play. They pick it over towards B. They go flawless, and they earn themselves double digits.
Up to double digits first off the back of 4 in a row. Has to have Cedar Rapids feeling pretty solid right now. And I think the important thing to remember is, despite the fact that we look up at the top of your screen and technically Owasso is the 4 seed, that's because, as you pointed out a few times earlier yesterday, even numbers were one group, odd numbers where the other group, Owasso technically had the higher round differential, which does mean that this is their map pick. So if Cedar Rapids is able to come in and steal this one, they will be feeling pretty good as they head off the split.
Be a nice start. They're already up to double digits here. I think their offensive side, we talked about this Yoru Clove, very heavy aggression composition. It's so good. And oh, that sheer wall, the poor man gets always caught out. I want to see one of those decoy plays go the way of a TikTok clip where you just send in, walk into the wall, and try and catch your opponent off guard. Either way, for Owasso, they don't bite. It's going to be just about 60 seconds left.
You have Bob over here in the villain. Liz trying to at least bait out a little bit of utility. You see a little bit being used here. The rest of the squad will gather up behind him over here as the Cougars. They'll be looking to exec here on the C. All 5 players now together, and around the corner they go. Able to find one, but will get put down. Also, LeBron James right back into the fray with that not dead yet. Texas trying to do the same, tries to run back to safety, but Bob Villain chases him down. Site secured, Spike goes down, and it's going to be up to Owasso in a 2v4 on the retake.
James doesn't actually get their kill, so falls to the wayside, but still a 4v2. And just perfection of utility, that aftershock laid in exactly where the 2 X's are. It's going to be the rest of the crew holding close angles, not giving anything for free. One big thing Owasso does have is a showstopper, but they aren't going to continue in this show. They exit at halftime, not wanting to see the result of the game. And it's going to be Cedar Rapids 2 rounds away from victory.
Well, I had mentioned early on in the first half how we were seeing that neither team was really able to string a whole bunch of rounds together. Well, there at the end of the first half, we saw 3 in a row that were won over by the side of Owasso. And they started off the second half doing the same, which put them up to a lead, which felt like they were going to be able to cruise to. But that's now 5 in a row by Cedar Rapids to be able to give themselves the lead. The economy in shambles over on that Cedar Rapids side as well. It looks like they could very well be moving themselves on this map point here.
Feels as such. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what the buy actually shakes up to be for Owasso. It's not a ton of money, but it's one of those rounds where we said you really don't want to bet it all on giving your opponent guaranteed overtime. Maybe it's that showstopper. Maybe it's the entry they need. Looking hefty on Mount. And Jude the Dude is also 2 away from the Thrasher. So if you can maybe do some damage control with the showstopper in this round, activate the Thrasher into next round, it's doable. But Cedar Rapids is looking unstoppable right now. They are on a 5-round straight winning streak.
Yeah, I think if you get those ults working out for you too, I mean, Vision 2, or sorry, and Ultra away from their ult as well. So, I mean, it's definitely possible that they get the tools at their disposal. Off your feet! But they are going to need the results that they're looking for here in round 21. It will be the whole thunder that'll pop a few players up off their feet, give them a full send onto the site. Now it's up to Texi as well as to Spetty if they want to prevent Cedar Rapids from moving up to Matt Point.
Gotta be that ultimate. If you want to invest it, you better do it quickly here. Just clearing everything. Has the Vandal to work with.
1 enemy remaining.
Villain makes it a 2v1. Rather a 4v1. It's no ultimate either. Texi looking on the other side of it. Bob Villain's 3K is good enough to put the Cougars 1 round away.
Match point.
Taking Lotus.
You know, remember earlier I said how there wasn't anyone who had really separated themselves over on that Cedar Rapids side? Well, we've had a couple of rounds here in a row where Bob Villain's been popping off with a couple of multi-frag sort of plays, and that has them already up past 22, leading the lobby. The question is, can they put themselves up to 25 here in what could very well be the last round of Lotus? It will be essentially a full buy over on the side of Owasso. They still have that showstopper at their disposal. Vision has their ult at their disposal as well. Let's see if they can keep this map going for another round.
Got to. Ult, raise ult. No, it's got to be Tispetti, who double kills him to start off the round. Huge set of confidence here. Now here, How does it go?
Spike down, C.
3K. This is what it
Last
needs
player
to be.
standing.
Despetti steps into the moment. Quadra kills them away. And just one final player left that didn't check their corner. Bob Villain down. Flawless round from Owasso.
I'm not gonna lie, we saw him turn
Control
the
the
corner, and I
space.
can only help
Control
but
their
look up at the
choices.
mini map, and I saw Vision just sitting there. I'm like, Vision's trying to kind of hold off from pulling this trigger to see if Despetti catches up and gets the ace, surely, right? Instead, turns around. Vision knows it's either pull the trigger now or never. Puts them down, and well, that's quite a bit of savings going into this next round. And thanks to the what seemed like a little bit of surprising plays that kind of caught them off their guard in that 22nd round, they're gonna pump the brakes here over on that Cedar Rapids side.
And I think the bigger thing as well is that was a 0 ultimate investment round. That was just Despetti going crazy. You still got the showstopper. You've still got the steel garden. Of course, the timeout warranted, I think. You've got 2 rounds to try and close it out before overtime is a necessity. I think for Cedar Rapids, though, you also have that safety net. You know they can't beat us in regulation. Even if they start this snowball, even if they use their ultimates, we'll have a second chance.
Timeout's going to be called, surely. I would imagine more so just to be like, hey, you know what, guys? Let's realize the spot that we're in. We're only 1 round away. We need to win one of the next 2. That's it. Then you don't have to worry about going into that overtime. We're going back and forth, defense and offense, and having to put 2 rounds together. You've already given yourself a decent lead. Yeah, end it here, because if you give Owasso a little bit of hope, and then they pull off the comeback, then they go into your map pick on split with a little bit of momentum on their sides. Let's see if they can shut things down here around 23. A quick fault line will be sent over towards the doorway here along the A-long side. However, that doesn't stop Cedar Rapids from still considering that as a point of entry.
They've got an interesting little split here. Kind of a 2-3 with
split's
some
next map.
pressure. Oh, yeah. Good one there.
Sorry.
Puns on Wednesday morning, man. I don't know that my brain is ready for it. Either way. Also, they've got a 3-1-1 of their own. And it feels like with the Vise, you could just hold this over and over and over again. I mean, it's already 60 seconds left to go, though.
And they've definitely been taking their time here for sure, which just means more and more so when it comes time to exec on A. It's got to be a full set. Bob Villain in the dimensional drift is going to be able to give the information that there's 3 there. Looks to be able to come back to the play, back from behind, and instead of the pivot over towards B, Mordekaiser and try and poke their way to the door. Despetti will be able to find one with the showstopper.
Nobody was looking as well to spend a quick one. That's 3. The headshot flies in. And Owasso starting to bring this one back. Without Despetti, it's going to be no ultimates left to go. Just the 2 players in Cedar Rapids.
I know
Set to go for the
exactly where
concussed.
you
Bad
are.
Kid hits the headshot. They've got
Last
the high
player
low ground
standing.
play, but it's all down to
enemy
1.
remaining.
Bad
3
Kid
on
is the one. Takes down the headshot, picks up the 3K. Walks away a far distance. He's just sauntering on over. Is just repositioning for absolutely free. And that timing is everything. The fake again. Bad Kid. The shot's not good enough. It's Owasso sending it all the way to the distance.
Well, let's go the distance. You know what? Let's get some extra rounds here in map number 1, because why not? 11 to 12 here as Owasso continues to scratch and claw here on their map pick of Lotus. Jude the Dude will have their ult at their disposal here if they're looking to try and force an overtime. But when you look across those ult orb counts elsewhere, well, that's probably the only one that comes into play. Feels like just maybe Owasso looking to send us the extra rounds.
I wouldn't hate it. I mean, more Valorant is more Valorant indeed. We'll have to see though. It's on a knife's edge. It is right here. It is this final round that so often comes down to. It's going to be the early combination of the paint shells with the breach utility to push further out and away. That Cedar Rapids Kennedy offense now. They use the fake out over towards C, and it's only that sheer wall that's pulled away again.
Betty already low on bullets. I did see another weapon on the ground next to them, maybe something to swap out for, but I mean, doing a great job of holding off the first initial push. Unfortunately, though, That first initial push is only by the lone player, Bad Kid, the Cypher over there. Meanwhile, the rest of the squad here for Cedar Rapids Kennedy is looking over towards Mound. There's a bunch of utility that they will have to make their way past if this is indeed the option. Now with 55 seconds, it's either this or pivot towards B.
Looks like they don't want to pivot quite yet. Gonna rotate back. They've still got a lot of time, realistically. They don't have to make an awry choice that would send this one to overtime. LeBron James, of course, has the medal of up and available, has that overheal just in case too, and it's going to be a rotate over to A. Once again, it's a different story.
30 seconds
Steady
left.
has to rotate away to try and find his clutch.
I like that idea. You fall back a little bit where you can use this hallway as cover. Those couple of pop shots slow down this push enough where the defense is going to be able to rotate and get over and have at least a slight presence over towards A. Yeah, Toro's already on site. Yeah, we'll be able to
10
send
seconds
Fury up
left.
to the high ground, but now they've got to be at least
Spike
a little conscious
planted.
if the spike goes down. And we do see a couple of picks here actually from the side of Owasso. It's going to be left to a 3v3, but the Cypher already sitting so low. Numbers, I was going to say in favor of Owasso, but hold on just a moment.
Bob Villan already on a double kill. Look at this set.
Last
Crossfire.
player
They
standing.
refuse to go. LeBron James. The headshot sets it into a 2-on-1. But it's now the overheal coming through too. The health isn't great from Bad Kid, but that spike is already up to the second level. It's just a kill. The villain of the
Attackers win.
stories, LeBron James and Cedar Rapids will take map number 1.
Well, it was close. It went the distance, but Cedar Rapids able to come in on Lotus. Again, Owasso's map pick and able to take the dub. I mean, you got to give it out to Tispetti. Was the MVP on the map when you look at ACS. Very closely followed by Bob Villan. But I think the big thing is 4 of the next 5 high scores, all from Cedar Rapids. Kelly showing that it's more of a team effort over on that side there. That's a close one to start things off here as far as for our grand finals there, Llama.
It absolutely is, and it's what we want to see. You know, these are both 2 state champions in their own right who, by the way, have never played before this cross-state matchup, getting to see it for the first time here in a championship duel. Both of them brought their A game, but at the end of the day, we said it doesn't matter how close it is, how many rounds you lost by. Owasso lost their map pick. They're going to have to bounce back.
We'll have to see if they can bounce back in map number 2. That second map will be coming up here in just a moment where we're going to be off to Split. So make sure you don't go anywhere too far. Maybe grab yourself a quick drink. We'll be back with map number 2 here on the other side.
Cedar Rapids on series point, trying to close out the series on their own map. Welcome back, everybody, to the 2025 Scholastic Nationals at Maryville University. We already had Rocket League and Overwatch done a few weeks ago, but today is for Valorant and Valorant only. Yesterday, Q, we played 14 hours of Valorant to decide these 2 teams here in the grand finals, and now that we're here, it has been an absolute blast.
Has been a blast. It almost feels sad to say that this could very well be our last map of our festivities here for the Valorant action for our LOS Scholastic National Championships. But I mean, thus far here in the grand finals, it is not disappointed. Our first map went the distance. Lotus back and forth for a while, and then interestingly enough, it was still back and forth, but not in the sense of round for round, 2 rounds for 2 rounds. It was a little bit of a run by Owasso, and then all of a sudden you had the winning team end up coming back. I mean, you can't be too mad when you see both teams really showing up in a good way.
It was only separated by 2 rounds at the end of it and didn't go to overtime. We didn't get that necessarily, but we are headed towards our second map. This is going to be Split, and it is Cedar Rapids map pick. So Owasso got to choose side selection, and they chose defense. Their defense needs to start out good, especially on a map like Split, or else Cedar Rapids could bring the title home.
I do always feel like Split is one of those interesting maps. Like, I don't know about you, Llama. I don't really see Split as a map that I feel like traditionally favors one side or the other. Like, definitely there's swings, but I feel like sometimes teams just have a vibe on one side of the map or the other. It's not like I don't feel like it's consistent enough for me to call like an attacker side or defender side. Thoughts? Lukewarm take, hot take?
Oh, I feel like it just falls a little bit more defensive sided in my opinion, just because like a lot of teams get a little bit complacent, maybe is the word, on the offensive side, where they can't find unique things. I mean, the map's been in the pool for years and years now at this point, so everybody kind of knows the strategies. And I don't know, maybe I favored just the defense a little bit more because I like playing that Viper. But it's also, like you said, it can be that vibe, it can be that change, it could be one thing, and that change is going to be the Tejo, brought in this time around from Cedar Rapids.
Have we seen a Viper this weekend? Like at all?
I think we
I'm
saw
thinking
one.
back. Did we see one? I was gonna say Viper is definitely also one of my favorite agents. Unfortunately, just not one that you see played too often nowadays. Definitely, there are a few maps that you see Viper on more often than others, but unfortunately, most of the ones that we've seen on stream just haven't been that. But it's off to split we go. And when you look at these compositions here, Llama, tell me what's the biggest thing that stands out in your mind?
Vise has really been standing out to me, and I think this time around it's going to be that Vise versus Yoru duel, that sheer wall that we talk about, especially on a two-site map with minimal entry. You have to clear that out before you get in if you're on either side for Cedar Rapids. On the other side, I think the Tejo is very interesting. It recovered from a lot of nerfs. I think although it still has those guided salvos, the range isn't as big. But the most important thing out of all of it, I think, is the sky. I think that healing possibility, the reset ability from this team composition of Owasso could pull them over the line.
We are going to have just a moment here. Does look like we may have a small mic issue, so we do appreciate your patience with that here, chat. But of course, in a game like Valorant, communication very big, very much the key. You were just talking about importance of needing to try and clear out specific abilities as well. So understandably so, we're not going to send our players in without making sure everyone's on that even playing field here. But we do talk about at the start of every map here, Llama. The first couple of rounds all really lead off the back of that first round, which is the pistol here. So I always like to kind of see when everything's on that even scale, which team's really able to put themselves a nice first step above the rest.
Every extra round that you build up here, especially on the Cedar Rapids side, you get that much closer to taking the series victory. It's only a best of 3, not a long best of 5 or anything even more in between. This has to be Owasso doing exactly what the Cougars just did to them on their map pick. They need to take it, and especially starting on this defensive side, we said it, they have the resources to get it done. It wasn't like a large win in that last map, but it was still a win, and at the end of the day, that's what you have to find.
What's that whole sound that we saw get so popular on social medias not too long ago? A win's a win. You know what I mean? I take it. 2 rounds, 12 rounds, 13-0. It doesn't matter what it is. It counts the same when it comes to that overall series score. But I guess while we do wait a second and we're getting ready for what could very well be our last round of the LOS Scholastic National Championships here for Valorant, we got to make sure we're giving a big shout out to League OS, which specializes in powering high school and collegiate esports leagues with competition management software that handles everything from signups to streaming. It's 10 state high school esport leagues around the country that do run on League OS, as do about 20 collegiate esport conferences as well. That's over 600 colleges and more than 2,000 high schools with over 50,000 total players. And since League OS does compile lifetime stats, records, and trophies for each individual that plays on its platform, they have a unique ability to connect students and their stats with recruiters at the next level seeking promising talent. So definitely got to make sure we're giving a big shout out to League OS, a very unique setup. Definitely love being involved over here, and especially when you get to bring, hundreds of the best players across the country from different titles, right? To get together for like the combine, like it is happening here on site this weekend. I mean, you can't really ask for much more when it comes to Scholastic Esports.
2 different combines happening throughout the year, and if you're somebody out there that maybe doesn't have a high school esports team but still wants to be involved, make sure to set up your LOS portal account. You talk about those 600 colleges, well, they're recruiting right now. Summer is one of the biggest times for esports recruiting to set up for the next collegiate year. It gets all of your stats combined, as you talked before, with your accolades and your academic performance, and that's what leads to those combines. The top 100 high school esports prospects from the portal will be invited to those combine events each and every year. The first portal combine actually took place here in my hometown of Columbus, Ohio, and this last June will take place at Maryville University, so that's where we're at right here, right now. Not only thank you to League OS Portal, but also to HyperX for stepping in and giving some extra gear as a reward for the teams that win.
Ironic how it works, ain't it, brother? First one in your neck of the woods, the last one, the most current one, well, kind of in what used to be my neck of the woods. You gotta love how that thing works. Small world it does happen to be from time to time, but while we're speaking about time, taking an extra moment here, you wonder for a team like Owasso, who is coming in with a sub into map number 2. You think like you're getting revved up, you're ready to go, and now all of a sudden, you have a little bit of extra time to sit and think about that map number 1 that probably felt like was going to go in your favor with that nice little run you went on to end the first half as well as start the second half. What do you do as a competitor, Llama? I know you competed in esports. I think what's the big thing to be able to quickly take your mind off a previous map and get set up for the next one in your line?
I think you have to focus on the good things while also being a little bit honest about your overall gameplay, because the most important thing is keeping your mind fresh. And we always talk about having a good or bad short-term memory, whatever you want to call it, trying to forget that last game. I faintly remember, I was playing Apex in one of my games and we got absolutely camped, jumped on, and we're like, well, we have to go to the next matchup. We still have 5 more matches left to play. It's not like we can doubt ourselves now. We still have to believe in our game plan. Let's talk it over. Let's clear the comms, and let's get ready to go.
Does look like we've got both teams saying that they are indeed ready to go. So we should be seeing things started back up here in just one moment. Again, we appreciate your patience, and to remind everybody what is on the line, you look up at the top middle portion of your screen. On both sides, they've got those halfway kind of empty boxes. One of them already filled over on that Cedar Rapids Kennedy side. It's a best of 3. You only need to win 2 maps. Map number 1 was indeed Owasso's map pick. So we are off to split here, whereas Cedar Rapids Kennedy can secure themselves another map win. They won't have to worry about a 3rd map, and they can call it a quick day.
Get the victory. It's also pretty interesting to see, kind of in that bracket as well, how things shook out for Owasso. They've actually yet to drop a map. They started out their bracket with a 13-1 victory versus the 5 seed in Utica, and then swept the number 1 seeded Centerville to get here. So their route has been clean so far. Of course, dropping their first map to Cedar Rapids. And Cedar Rapids had a tough route as well, so 2 teams that have actually pushed their boundaries all the way to the limits. And now this is it. I mean, there's a single elimination bracket in front of them for a reason. This is Championship Wednesday.
There it is. You see the clock starting to go. Means everyone on both sides ready to roll. Llama, hit me with the prediction. We haven't really gotten to talk about it just quite yet. Do you feel like Cedar Rapids Kennedy will indeed be able to wrap it up in 2 straight maps, or are we going to map 3?
This Teo is gonna perform well, but honestly, man, that Rise
Drop
is
in
gonna
a
be
hole.
really tough to deal with, especially on a map like this. I think I'm still gonna take Cedar Rapids. I think that momentum and going on to their map pick is gonna be good. We'll have to hear yours just a little bit. The action is starting to rip through for Despetti. It's gonna be the push on in. But it's got the headshot. The mailroom shut down here. Despetti and Jude both fall.
There it is. First 2 in favor of Cedar Rapids Kennedy. Strong Maniac, though, turns the corner, finds 1. How about we make it 2, but it's only 26 HP left up on the table here. Actually, both players are still left
Last
alive
player
here
standing.
for Owasso. Pretty low in that health department, and it will now be left all to Strong Maniac in a 1v3 as the spike goes down.
Side ground up here. Get a couple chip shots to bounce on through as well. It's gonna send on from behind as Bob Villain will get the first setup 3K of the round. And it's a beautiful start from Cedar Rapids. They will open with a round victory. Owasso will have to try and bounce back.
Well, remember in that last game, we had seen both teams take a pistol round. One team won the first half, one won the second. And quite often we see in closer matchups like this where that pistol round can make the difference. So the fact that you start off with a good foot here for Cedar Rapids Kennedy after stealing map number 1, surely the vibes are high. I know I had heard from our people that were on site that the squad from Cedar Rapids can be getting quite loud after that first win. So if they continue to pile down rounds, don't be surprised if that noise starts picking up once again over on that side of the Esports Lounge.
Noise is there. Guided Salvo's taken down one. LeBron James takes down two. And it's a mid push. Taspetti is going to look for this one. Swinging around with the Sheriff. It's the shot through the box. And that's a beautiful weapon pickup. Now you've got to re-engage. Now you've got to look for this opener. And the problem is that spike has already been planted for a while. You've got paint shells, but I mean, boy, the flashes, the everything. The metal even connects, takes Taspetti down to 7 HP. The Sheriff shots. The DK will reset. But it is just a Teo and the teammates delaying, saying, push us, we dare you. Try and engage to our back of sight setup. And the final shoulder peek here from Taspetti is going to be far too late. We'll probably just go down to the spike here to try and pick up that extra ultimate orb. Might just look for the run out too. Boom, boom, boom. Cedar Rapids up 2-0.
Right here.
One heck of a start for themselves. Q, we got to hear your prediction now.
You know, I had told you over on the good old Twitter sphere, I guess some people are considering calling it X nowadays. I gotta roll with Owasso in 3. I had said in 3 before things started. I guess they're gonna have to go back to back in order to do so. It feels like would be quite fitting for both teams to steal each other's maps to send us off to that decider. So I am all here for it. Of course, I have been very consistent all day long yesterday as well as today in explaining that a real game of Valorant don't start until round number 3. That's where we find ourselves. Rifles in hand over on Owasso. Let's see if they can put themselves in the scoreboard.
Hey, Tech splitting up the defenders just like we've got a nice little split desk up here. Love to see it with some battling predictions. And for Cedar Rapids, I want to see what they can do in this round number 3. Like you said, it's really where the Valorant starts to hit the road. And for Texi, already that positioning on the upper side of mid vents. We'll just try and look through and pick up even more kills. I wonder how much further Owasso really want to let them trail, because from behind, Badkid's got one. Sheriff is dealing insurmountable blows.
Spike down
He's got a 3K though. That's spike down, and that's going to be Badkid.
Put down.
Just to do it all, there's a second.
At least able to spray through the box to get one, but it does give away their location. Strong Maniac just simply has to look up, hit their shot. That's going to be a round on the board here for Owasso. But of course, it does mean that rifles will be back in the hands over on that Cedar Rapids side, which is probably something that they're looking forward to doing. I don't know about you. I mean, shooting a Sheriff is fun with the one shot, sure, but there's just something about the way the Vandal in hand, it just fits so nice.
Absolutely. And I'm a Vandal enjoyer too. I know there's been debates about the Phantom versus Vandal. Really just personal preference, I think, at that point. But I definitely agree too. Hits nicely, very satisfying. And satisfying to get around on the board for the Rams, who've got the lead in half. And now Cedar Rapids, as you said, the real Valorant starting up here. We'll get to round number 4. We'll get to see who has the better rifle round.
Let's get down to it. It does look like a slow potential approach over towards B here. They are definitely taking their time for sure. Badkid's the one lone player left over towards A. Here's the Roomba off in the distance and doesn't have to worry about it. Jude the dude potentially playing peekaboo right around this corner here with Badkid. Badkid will back down though, and at this point will opt to rotate around and meet up with the rest of the squad. Also, we have 3 players, including the Spike, looking around this corner over towards B as well. I think they're making sure that he's caused enough of a hesitation from the defensive side to maybe cause some rotations on out, but Spetty already rotating over towards B in anticipation.
Lose 2 from it though. I mean, this mid push is just falling apart. They didn't have to throw. It's a nice little earn back from Jude the dude, and they've got to do everything against the Yora. Close range, a classic steal away as the Phantom ran out of ammo. So Cedar Rapids, not only do they get 3 rounds up on the board, but they've got the neural theft already online.
Already getting some ults, which is huge, and I always love when you have that neural theft available. One quick frag, and it doesn't matter how slow and how cautious the other team is playing, all of a sudden their whole game plan is given away. You know where they're at. If they happen to move within the next second or two, you also know which way they're heading as well. So For a team like Cedar Rapids, who has already shown the ability to really capitalize on that much information in a game where information is most definitely key, let's see if they can get some big utility here in round number 5.
I know exactly where you
That
are.
is just unfair, honestly. You talk about the neural theft, it's awesome. Just a quick connection and a swing on in. And do the resources back on the inside. That's where the first kill fell. Second will go down as Bob Dylan. Take down the Maniac. Mordekaiser only gets the one back before getting isolated. It's a nice little 2 for nothing here.
Last
As the
player
huge
standing.
ultimate comes through. Clarence forces it down to just a text clutch up scenario through the box. The shots are pretty decent.
Spike
Not good
planted.
enough for the kill.
Texi's location has been given away as they probably heard those shots coming up from top mid.
Shot in a
Texi
smoke.
still at least take 1 or 2 rifles out of hand. It becomes the real question here. We'll drop down to the low ground. Clarence showing the patience. Fault line comes out. Not quite going to hit its mark. Texi will force Clarence out. Clarence finds the head. And that's going to be a 4th round already on the board for Cedar Rapids.
Blink and they'll catch up.
They're
Stay
really
alert.
just cleaning up some of these rounds, and they're unafraid to use ultimates. I think sometimes you get caught
This
up
goes
in,
here.
okay, are we gonna get the perfect setup? Can we find the perfect combination? No, Bad Kid is just first blooding them and taking the ultimate, taking the info, and running straight at them. Not giving the time here on a map where, sure, the sites are realistically a little bit further apart. If you don't give that time for them to run to the other one, they can't reinforce the defense, and you start to go huge. It's back to the ecos, it's back to the Sheriffo here from Dex to try and shut down some of this Cedar Rapids, offense.
See, as they do look to make a potential push here through mid, figure out which way they want to take this spike. 4 of them gathered up together. You do still have LeBron James over towards B, maybe just trying to give a little bit of sound notification. Strong Maniac will be able to call the push, potentially up towards top mid. Texi will wait around this corner and maybe even send in on a pinch. Kaiser doesn't have to worry about the entry on the site. Able to find one, but gets put down by Bob Villain, and that gives the green light here to Cedar Rapids to try and get this spike down.
Wonder if Owasso be able to pick up specifically just the one weapon. But it looks like for right now, Cedar Rapids has got full control. Not dead yet, available on the other side. And it's going to be the safety from Bob Villain. If things don't work out on this upper rafters side, could just jump their way on down through the teleport action. And is just going to look for some footstep audio. Toro gets the first headshot off.
Last player standing.
It's going to be Bad Get off the stun, catching Jude. And now Texi will just try and get him killed on the exit. It's going to be Texi's headshot that only gets them 1 before falling down to the ground. Cedar Rapids rolling here early.
Are rolling, but it does look like a tech pause here as well, called over on that Cedar Rapids side. So a quick second for them to figure out what's going on in the background there. And unfortunately for Owasso, means an extra second for them to think about the fact. And they have not exactly came out to the start they were looking for here on Split. I mean, already given over 5 of the first 6 rounds. Of course, we saw these 2 teams go back and forth with some longer runs in the last map. Do Owasso have the ability to come back? That's going to be yet to be seen, but having more time to think about it, some teams just can't handle that, Llama.
Absolutely. And I mean, this is a definite scenario where you could overcook. 5 ultimates in the bank with only 1 round on the board, and you're battling against Cedar Rapids, who you wouldn't think, okay, it's just 2 ultimates. They can't shut us down with that, but I mean, that Armageddon, especially on a map like this, can just clear sights. And you know what? It is perfectly parallel to just drop on the back of B site, push everybody forward, and clear it away. It looks like Owasso really hasn't wanted to go over to the A site either. So we'll have to see how that goes, and Dimensional Drift just as deadly.
See as far as who gets the most value out of what does get used in this following round, because I do feel like for Owasso, you don't want to pull all your eggs in one basket. I mean, you've got 5 ults, you've got 5 rifles. Last thing that you want to do is expend 3, 4 of those ults, lose this round, meaning you go into the next round with basically nothing, with the economy looking as the way it is currently, with no player going into this next round with over 500 credits. While you've got everything at your disposal, I feel like you really want to make sure that you can spread the wealth across a couple of rounds here.
Try and win those couple of rounds too. I think one of the bigger things right now is, right now for Owasso, it feels like they haven't been able to really find that set play to really give their top frags the entry they want. They haven't really found the overall ultimate usage until this round. And then you add on top of that how fast Cedar Rapids have been playing. If they've been playing through mid, they've been opening up the highway. They've been sending it off to B. If they've been playing through garage, they've been sending it super quickly, too fast for the Owasso reinforcement. So I wonder if maybe you put a little bit more presence towards mid. Maybe you invest a couple of those clove smokes to force them to either play a little bit more patient or walk through and face your fury.
I'll have to definitely put together a strategy here, Llama, because they're running out of time. With where they're sitting, where you're looking at heading into round number 7, it's definitely early to be calling it a must-win round, but when I think you talk about the momentum overall, I mean, a very heavy push on the comeback by Cedar Rapids. They're towards the end of map number 1. Yeah, we saw a little bit of resistance in that more of a late game comeback from Owasso as trying to close that distance and force the overtime, right? But as far as for Cedar Rapids, I feel like they've seen more of the success recently. And if they can continue to compile on this lead, knowing that they're already loud and proud, and sometimes teams, once they're vibing high, they're a hard squad to kind of pump the brakes against. There just might be they might be a runaway train too early here in map number 2.
Absolutely. And it feels like they're a team that does kind of play off a little bit of momentum. You talk about their road that they took to get here. Not only was it a 13-7 in their first round of the playoffs in those quarterfinals, but also they were the ones that actually had opened up the best of 3 scoring against Bishop Kelly. They were up 13-9. They lost game number 2 in overtime, 15-13. You think it would stop a team after losing map number 1 and then being so close to finishing out the series? Nope, 13-3 smashed the last game to earn this spot.
This is a team that seems like at times have shown the ability to push the pace and really be able to run things up, and they're at the risk of being able to do that here for sure. When you look thus far as things moving forward in map number 2, gotta give a big shout out to 2 unsurprising names, both Bad Kid and Bob the Villain, who have been very consistent at high fragging here for this Cougar squad.
And they do it again and again. It's not just one round, it's in those scenarios that boost them into what is winnable rounds. And you talk about Bad Kid specifically, I feel like it hasn't been the 3Ks, the 4Ks, the aces that have really stood out to me. It's single kills. It's single kills that start a snowball. It's that neural theft play early on in this half that gets them going. And out of the last 6 rounds, it is 5-1. Cedar Rapids off the unpause. We'll see what the Cougars can do.
All right, well, we talked about the importance of this next round since we did have the extra time there with the pause. Let's see if Owasso was able to also talk a little bit of extra importance of where we're at here in map number 2 on split. It does look like they're going to be looking for some control here in this middle portion of the map. Texi's line of sight will be cut off. Doesn't look like Texi's going to be backing down just quite yet. Maybe waiting for a delayed wrap around that corner, but for now, they're going to be waiting on their teammate here coming across. It's going to be Cedar here with them.
Locating target.
2-1 split coming through from this Cedar Rapids offensive side. They're kind of baiting away.
Launching missile.
To get somebody from Owasso to play aggressive. Gotta know they have all those ultimates available and don't want to go too heavy, especially into a showstopper and lose multiple members. You see
Missile deployed.
Through from Strong Maniac to get that first blood drop. Villain a great one to take. Nobody checks left. Finally, Toro gets the swing on in and trades their teammate out. Of course, Armageddon's still up and available, but this is going to be a tough round unless they get the high ground to Vay.
They come across, showstopper comes down to Spetty. Shot like a clay pigeon. Doesn't matter though, as Owasso quickly able to find those last 3 frags, and that does it out. They get themselves a very
Standing in between
important
us
round on
and
the board.
victory.
Cedar Rapids, though, you did burn away 2 of those ultimates. Didn't cost you too much except the round, and you still have got rifles for days, and you probably have enough money to even buy into this next round because of how many you had won in a row. Now you've got to deal with those other 3 ultimates. I think more specifically, you're looking to try and bait out the Vi's ultimate or try and pull it and swap sights because that is just such an annoying one to do. We talk about how those pistols really don't help you out
Who's
much.
next?
Definitely don't here. So let's go
Storm's
ahead and get into this
activated.
round
Blinding.
now where it is a full
Good
live
hit.
both squads. It's important here as far as from the side of Owasso to try and continue compiling down their momentum after that second round 1. Line of sight will be broken for these 2 players that are sitting up here within the high ground top mid. The rotations will be called in. Reinforcements on the way for Owasso. It will be the Rolling Thunder. Does get some players off their feet. Doesn't stop the plant from coming in, however. Full V5 will be
The Garden turns off those primary weapons. Doing this Betty go big, but the blind rises back from the dead. Dexy tries to get a kill and stay alive here. LeBron James with just the pistol pulls out the Vandal. Ultimate delayed. The overheal though is nothing. Has to pop out the metal. That Decay can just eat away everything they want to do. The plant was denied initially by the Rolling Thunder, and LeBron James wants to head tail towards the other side.
Wonder if Owasso
30
knows
seconds
that
left.
they have the spike in hand. Surely they realize it at this point, since the spike hasn't gone down, and since they haven't heard anything as far as the plant. They gotta anticipate that there was a full rotation by LeBron James. For that reason, you see them already on their way over towards a LeBron James, though unfortunately currently looking the wrong way. Do they have time to peek and turn around, or do they just get caught off guard? Not like this. Easy shot by Mordekaiser, and that will now be a 3rd round on the board for Owasso.
It's a good little get back here. However, I will say for the Rams, it'll be a question of whether or not they overinvested. 5 ultimates in 2 rounds. Everything in terms of the ultimate economy has disappeared, but it is for some rounds. You got yourself back on the board. You force Cedar Rapids down to the brink. They're not
Now
out
we
of
win.
economy by any
Rip and
means.
tear.
They're very, very close. Bad Kid, the first one to double digits, up to
Launching
10. Now we get to see what Cedar Rapids wants to do with the economy advantage going back their way.
Well, they're starting to pull it within their favor, and
Last
if they
place.
are able to pull off this round, I mean, they could very quickly turn 3 to 5, and while they don't necessarily have ults available for them, they will have to worry about where those first frags fall, because if Bad Kid finds that ultimate frag, they have that neural theft at their disposal, be able to give away the location of all of the remaining defenders. It does look like they will be looking at a push over towards B, despite the fact that Bad Kid currently posted up over here at A, looking over towards the ramp, but nobody wanting to play.
This is the only non-rifle. It is important to note for Bad Kid, only 2 bullets right now left in the rotating barrel of this Sheriff. You do wonder, with that neural theft up and available, if you can just get 1 kill, can it turn the tide? Can it start to open things through? Tespetti doesn't quite know where the offense is coming from, so starting to set up over towards that A ramp will actually bolster the high ground positioning. We talked about those heals, gets the reset, has no shield, but is back up to a full 100 count.
We go 35 seconds on the clock, means that they are going to have to start moving with a little bit of a sense of urgency. With
30
the spike
seconds
already
left.
pivoted over towards
Don't
A,
gonna smoke.
it feels like A has to be the play. We'll see 2 players making their way through ropes and trying to go move towards that top mid area. Burrow will be moving on up and trying to see who they can find as well, but out of space, it's actually going to be a potential pivot
Out of
back
charge.
away.
Spike
The spike's
down
going to be
A.
found from
10
LeBron
seconds
James.
left.
That is a critical mistake.
There's no time left. Toro can get as many kills as they want. The plant will not go down. A fall down here from the Vandal. Jude the Dude and crew might even look for this final kill. But they're low on rifles
Killing
as
them
well,
is
so
easier
just don't
than
want
all
to lose
these
anybody
radio
extra.
tactics.
Owasso, a nice little turn back. 3 rounds in a row, and this time they just battle against patience. They hold their positions, they don't overextend, and get rewarded for it.
I think the big thing that stands out to me looking at the scoreboards, at least thus far, and of course keep in mind there's still plenty of time here on Split, but when we look over at Cedar Rapids, is there two usual players that are kind of popping off and leading the way, right? Bad Kid, Bob Villain, two very consistent fraggers in their own name. When you look over towards Owasso, the Rays sitting at the bottom of the scoreboard. Sometimes that happens when you're trying to force issues and things aren't going your way, but you just can't help but wonder if that makes them a little upsetting to
Definitely see it.
Right there,
You
you're
can
down.
also see this
I got the
mid-entrance
spike.
just
Spike down,
being shut
mid.
down. As Despetti's able to get that second kill of the round for Owasso. They've got some more control. And again, it's this defensive side that starts to lock in on a two-side map. For Cedar Rapids, though, all three members left alive have got an ultimate. You talk about that Armageddon. It can just expose everything inside of the site. You think for everybody else, it's a collection agency now. Where do you try to go? Where do you try to break through? Because it is just a full defensive setup from Owasso, and they refuse to move.
Definitely showing the patience, understanding that they've already got themselves the man advantage. Don't want to get caught over-aggressing around a corner. So, as for now, they're trying to return with their own sort of patience and discipline to see
30
if they
seconds
could
left.
potentially force a pivot over. Find an easy pick or two. But as for now, it looks like they just might be worried about saving these couple of rifles, and for good reason. You only have one player that's past that 750 credit mark.
Great in the money scenario here. So we're going to have
10
feels like 8
seconds left.
players surviving in towards our next one. Cedar Rapids will dip away from some of the duels that were tried to be forced from the Clove on the other side, and the timer shall hit 0. So this is now 4 rounds in a row for the Rams on this defensive side. Again, they were the ones that chose this defensive side from it being Cedar Rapids map pick. At the same time, this Tejo ultimate has been held for a few rounds now. You wonder when the Armageddon is going to come out.
It's like it's got to be on the verge of coming out here soon. I mean, they've been sitting on it for a minute. It's something that can give them some big value as well, and they've got to start fighting back against this run that Owasso was on. They understand how important momentum can be. Well, it feels like they've got to find some way to bring this run to a screeching halt. They've got that, as well as the neural theft and the not dead yet at their disposal here in round 11. Let's see if what kind of value they can get from any of it.
Try and go for a it's going to be A, but not Ram. So they do control the high ground. Jude the Dude is isolated in a 2v1 and falters. The headshot
Spike
from Toro
planted.
opens up the killing as Despetti's got a 1-for-1 trade.
Go ahead.
His ultimate's still on board, and here comes the Armageddon. Clearing out through screens, you better run. Strong Maniac kills Clarence through the wall, and the Armageddon earns 1. Despetti tries to send their way in.
Satchel out.
A 2v2 here.
One enemy remaining.
For the headshot. LeBron James is back, and the showstopper is not good enough. It is the extra
Last
ultimate
round
that
in the
comes
half.
through, and the last second bullets that win it for Cedar Rapids.
I mean, it's a round win. I know I said earlier a win's a win, but I felt like maybe a little bit of an overinvestment with the showstopper, especially when not dead yet. Just basically make sure that you have someone left alive at the end. I mean, hey, it works out. You get yourself around, maybe even secures yourself the lead by half, but felt like maybe a little excessive spending, if you ask me.
Either way, you can't carry any of those ultimates here into the next rounds. You've got to use every single one of them. Here for Despetti, he's going to send down the Boom Buddy. Try and find some damage, and it's actually Jude the Dude that finds the first bit of damage on the Toro. Toro not going to be available in this round. There's a lot of post-play activity that's out there again now. And with the jump for the dog as well. Flank goes
Spike
through.
planted.
Despetti gets the second kill.
I know
And the
exactly
Rolling Thunder doesn't quite get any value. It's a second life coming through from Clove. Despetti continues the roar.
Last
A
player
double
standing.
kill. It's all down to LeBron James. But LeBron James, the name for a reason, clutched up the end of the last map, but will not clutch up here. Jude the Dude makes it 6-6.
Oh, I thought you were saying the name made sense because he was playing with a super team. I think I'd be.
Don't even stop
Anyway,
that shit team.
tied up 6-6 here. Hit the map number 2. I think for split, both of these teams feeling
Switching
pretty
sides.
solid. Man, this is back and forth, just the way that we were looking for at the top of the show here today, Llama. And I mean, as much as Owasso trying to keep their dog in the fight, I feel like this pistol could very well turn the tide. And map number 1, it went the distance because both teams split the pistol. If we do see Cedar Rapids able to win the pistol in the following round and then kind of go on that tear at the start of the half the way they did in map number 1, we could very well be looking at our last half here.
Absolutely could be. For Owasso, they want one more. They want another map. They want to send it to the highest of possibility. And they
Don't
want
give
to
them
bring
ground.
that championship back to Oklahoma. For Cedar Rapids, they would love nothing more than to close it out right here. And of course, with it being pistol on the defensive side, if they can secure it, it'll be even heavier going their way. It's going to be Clarence who's got an early headshot. It's a 1-for-1 to Spetty. Nice little piece of utility through the smoke. It's going to be 2-for-1 early. Cedar Rapids down a player.
Oh, a tough position to be in, realizing that you're tucked in the corner. You've got the paint shells heading your way. You try and get across. You just can't move fast enough. You might as well have stood still and accepted your fate at the end of the day. Now, though, will be 4-man pivot over towards B. They're going to have to worry about this short corner here where Bad Kid sitting on the high ground, aiming down sight and has that trap wire there as well. Nobody else is fully committed to the rotation over here towards B. So right now it's going to be all up to Bad Kid to slow down this push that's inevitably trying to get the spike planted.
For Bad Kids in one of these scenarios, though, has the tripwire right next to him, has that ability to play fast and loose. You've also got your Teo up towards that high ground. He's very strong. Here comes the run-in. Checking left first. Bad Kid still gets one.
Enemy
The
remaining.
damage is huge. Strong Maniac with a headshot. Makes things a little bit tougher here for Cedar Rapids, as it's all down to the Yoru.
See who's going to be able to take this thing home.
Drop
Bob
in a
Miller. We said before, a player who does know how to pop off. It's going to be tough, though, in the pistol round. Actually gets found. It's going to be Owasso taking the lead for the first time in, oh, well, I guess not in a while. It was 5-5, and it was 6-5. I was mistaken. I'm going to take that one back, Lyle. That one's on me.
It's a close map. I mean, what can we say other than that? For Owasso, I like the early pistol round victory, but on this attacking side, you still have to be very creative. You still have to find game plans that will break the current norms of what this map does. And obviously for Cedar Rapids, it's a 4-stack thing.
Quickly here, and understandably so. They understand the situation with only pistols in hand. Spetty turns the corner, able to find one. Still 3 players wrapped around here. The paint shells will come out and will force the Cypher out of their corner. Aren't going to be able to find the frag and get damage here on the Bad Kid. And now at this point, Owasso understands that with several players on their 6, this is where you got to start pushing towards B.
But an entrance in, and that's a nice little shot. Finds the extra body
enemy
armor to
remaining.
break down. It's 3 kills through mid. And all down once again to Bob Villain. Sheriff in hand, a 6-shooter with 26 HP. And a vine rope to stop them. Here they come. Send again, it's nothing. For Cedar Rapids, the flawless and triple kill from Tuspetti.
Speak up and ask
Move Owasso
questions.
up to a 2-round
Assumptions
lead.
will only get us in
In a
trouble.
similar way that we had been talking about, I believe it was in map 1, where we had seen a team walk away with a flawless after that second round. This is where they can bonus pretty heavy if they are indeed able to steal a third. Not only that, puts them
Now
on
we
the
wait.
verge of double digits as well. They have won 7 of the last
to move
8
my wall.
rounds, matter of fact, Owasso have. So maybe showed up a little late
Yeah,
to
we
play
wait.
here at Split, but they definitely seem to have found their stride.
Feeling really good. And honestly, that's what you want to see on a map that could end the Nationals here. Could send Cedar Rapids up to the championship podium. With all that gear. Guidance now those to come through, and then flying from Claire. Sent back as well from the right side to Spetty. Gets the headshot and shuts down the early breach utility setup. Owasso, it is these lesser rifle weaponries that are just giving them so many opportunities to find frags.
Been finding them by the bunches, especially to Spetty. Remember, it was just a few rounds ago when we had looked at the scoreboard. They were sitting at the bottom of the scoreboard for Owasso, now leading the way with 16 frags. Not only the highest on their team, but the highest in the lobby. It has really seemed to have found their true form here. And whenever your duelist is hot, sometimes you just got to ride that momentum.
Where'd you take that momentum now? You've got access to mid. Vents and mailroom are all questionable, as you don't necessarily have the full clearance. Up towards that high ground here, it's going to be Bad Kid and Bob Villain on the two-man defense. Teleporting back out to safety
30
here.
seconds
It's actually
left.
a teleport over to the A side. So it leaves Bad Kid in such an awkward scenario here. Down low, there's a headshot, only gets the one. Reinforcements are going to be there in time. 20 seconds left is the most important thing to watch. If they cannot get this plant down, it could be deadly. 10
Spike
seconds left,
planted.
they get it in. Toro going, Bob Villain on a double kill
Ammunition.
again. And Strong Maniac with
Last
a
player
bulldog
standing.
trying to do the damage. Tech
Another
save
dead.
doubles as well, and it's 9 for the Rams.
Double headshot as well. Quickly puts down those final 2 defenders. Well, that's now a 4th round in a row. 3 to start off half number 2. And more important than that, breaking the economy over on that Cedar Rapids side. And now more than ever, they need to find some way to do a lot with a little. You got to start taking some rifles off the table here in round 16. It's going to be tough to take the round itself, but you got to at least start somewhere.
And honestly, if you can do some damage here, we saw exactly what the defensive side looked like for Owasso. You can do the exact same thing. I mean, if you have control, if you have rifles, it is very rare without some ultimates that you're able to lose those rounds. And swinging around this left side is a possibility. Bait shells as a combination is just going to clear out the close range side of Mailroom. But that position is going to be reinforced. Fence is cut off at the close range point. So if Owasso choose to go down, it could end up catastrophic.
See if you opt for that play here. You see him checking down by ropes instead, deciding just to continue with their way and their push over
Drop in
towards
a
B.
smoke.
4 of them grouped up together. You do have one kind of left back behind. Surely going to be looking for Bob Villain, who is going to be rotating as far as on that lurk. No, actually not pushing quite past the door, but regardless, not enough motion, not enough signal here just yet for Owasso to move forward. Strong Maniac gonna find one. Is Betty gonna find one here as well?
Headshot picks up the rifle, but can't get anything
30
below
seconds
it.
left.
It's down to the
One
other two
enemy
teammates,
remaining.
not just one. Ron James Stinger can't get anything. Owasso 4 rounds straight to start out the half. They've got the plant. They've got everything they want. And Cedar Rapids will finally recover from that eco.
Yeah, I was going to say, surely you take the time out here, right? And yeah, indeed, that's the call. Clarence pumps the brakes and says, hey, yo, we got to figure this out because we have not only lost 5 rounds in a row, we've surrendered 9 of the last 10 after starting up 5-1. Owasso really trailblazing here on Split, which, funny enough, was Cedar Rapids' map. They've come to play, and they're looking to send us off to map 3.
I mean, it is a grand finals if I've ever seen one. Of course, Haven will be our decider with Owasso starting on attack if need be in map number 3. For Clarence, I think that last round had a possibility to go super big. Clarence has been really good about just getting those single kills that turn the tide and unlock a rifle for the team. For Cedar Rapids, though, it realistically needs to be this round. I mean, you're full investing in this one. If you lose it, Owasso probably gets 12.
See if they're going to be able to do just that. They would love to push a 12 as soon as possible. That's for sure. I would sure for them. Coming in here, playing with the sub, seemingly to hit their stride that much better. I mean, surely, gotta be feeling good. As far as for now, I'm trying to remember who of this 5 wasn't out last time, unless maybe they're just playing on the same account, just player name has changed. But regardless, still, there's a 4-round lead here for Owasso as we move into round 17. They are going to be looking for a push here from A main towards the site itself. A little bit of a hesitation means they may go A ramp.
And they've got 5 here. One of the interesting things you could do it is going to be exactly that. 2-for-1
Spike
trade.
down A.
Well, they've got the spike dropped on the ground, laid into the brickwork here of the Rams. Bob Villain continues to throw bricks at the opposing team.
Last player
Got
standing.
right here, but Zoro triples. The Tejo bombs them, and Cedar Rapids finally gets their first round of the half.
Wow, able to pull things off, and there it is, a round that was so importantly needed here in round 17 to be able to get Cedar Rapids back onto the board. They're also going to have that dimensional drift available at their disposal in round 18 here as well, if they could use it. You've got a couple of players that are getting ready relatively close to theirs. Clarence, Bad Kid, as well as Toro. So if you're able to continue to string together rounds, you'll have more utility at your side, and, well, you could very well bring this thing back.
I mean, 3 rounds, it's not nothing, but it's not insurmountable, that's for sure, and especially with the dimensional drift in your pockets. Oh, such an information. Ultimately, LeBron James playing with fire there and escapes to safety before the vent look is punished. Spetty, so many times being the top frag, will drop the Boom Buddy down to its death in the vents and then re-arch their way over to B.
Spetty slowly away. Chill out. Right into the stun, ends up not having to be punished for it. Will actually be able to stay away from taking any damage here as well. So actually a great job of being able to bait out utility. Turns the corner, sees Toro right onto the other side. Will take another fault line, but does not have to worry about it as the teammates are there to be able to find a couple of kills actually, and it will be all left to Bad Kid and Clarence if Cedar Rapids are looking to put together back-to-back rounds.
Tripwire destroyed.
Should at least hear the footsteps here coming towards A. 4v1 right now. Bad Kid is watching before, and it starts with a bit of a headshot.
30 seconds left.
It's the neural theft. Information gained. One behind screen, isolates the frag. The heal is going to go out. It's going to be all up to the teammate. Clarence gets the headshot, plant goes down.
Spike planted.
And now again, the Seeker is going to be infested as Clarence wants to bide a little bit of time. That gets the utility reset. Still one behind the screen. 2 more left with the HP advantage favoring Owasso. But all it just takes is a couple really good shots. You wonder if a save could be necessary here. There's one, but that's all they'll get. It's 11 for Owasso.
2 rounds away from sending us off to the decider, which you had mentioned earlier. We would be off to Haven. If that is indeed the case, Owasso has really come alive here on Split. I mean, just look at this run that they've been on. And now even going into round number 19, you still have 2 more ults at your disposal. Something tells me we're going to map 3, Llama.
Feels like if Cedar Rapids can't do damage in this round and or take the next round with some force, it could be over very quickly. And Owasso, you talk about that 3rd map, it would give them life, it would give them a chance to fight back. Again, that first map of Lotus that they lost was their first map lost in the entirety of the playoff bracket stage. And especially with an early kill onto the Yoru, that dimensional drift is unusable this round.
Here we go, moving forward. What are they going to do on the defensive side now that you've already lost 1? Knowing that 1 more round loss does allow for Owasso to move up to map point. And it looked early like things were fine. They just have not been able to find that same sort of success. Of course, a round win here could very well be the pep in the step that's needed here. Clarence, right around the corner here, is thinking about, do I want to peek towards B or do I just simply hold here? No information has been given for them, so no real reason to over-aggress, especially with the fact that you are already playing a man short. Rotation may be looking over towards A, though, and surely that noise there is going to be a full send on A.
It's heard, but it's also a rolling
30
thunder
seconds
that's
left.
going to deny the early plan. There's not much time for this. Bad Kid waits with the shotgun, but still dies. Despetti delivers a blow to the cranium. LeBron James gets one back. Through the wall, that's a headshot, and the heals are going to come out. Playing off this teamwork, playing off the flank. Do they know there's a nice little close coming through? Spawn side, it's not a double, but Clarence is forced into a 2v3.
1 player high, 1 looking at that
Last player
back
standing.
of sight. Despetti finds Toro, which means it's all left to Clarence from the high ground. Turns the corner. Ford to Kaiser is able to pop the head and sends us off to map point.
Match point.
For an eco round, you get 2 kills. At the same time, it's gonna be nothing much left after that spent. It's actually more of a closer to a half buy there for Cedar Rapids. 3 ultimates. You'd have to assume they want to use every single one of them. But at this point, it is going to take some serious heroics you're talking about probably having to get like a double kill from the Armageddon if you want to
Right
switch
then.
this,
Let's
or
go kill
just
them.
getting one single pick to get a rifle in the hands of somebody dangerous.
Fortunately, this is the situation that you've played yourself into on map point. I mean, you mentioned maybe you're able to pick something else up. You got 3 ults at your disposal, but the rifles are the big thing, especially on a map where you do at times, spots on this map have those longer sight lines as well. Mordekaiser will be by themselves.
Our spike's
Over
down.
towards B to Spetty.
Spike
Gonna
down
find
A.
2, including the spike. Yeah, LeBron James not dead yet. Looking to be able to find a way to keep themselves in this game. Will be back down from the doorway. Less time at their advantage. Next to the run. They're not dead yet. Back as Spetty finds a third.
Last player standing.
Villain has to do it all and can.
Attackers
The
win.
flash is no good. It is both teams taking their opposing team's map pick, and we're headed to one more, just as a national championship should be.
One more map. One more map. There it is, the scoreboard up on your screen. I almost can't help but wonder if Spetty had heard me and took that thing personal. Insert that Michael Jordan meme. We mentioned earlier it wasn't popping off. All of a sudden shows up and shows out, and Owasso runs away with things off the back of a 24, 14, and 10 stat line here. So you mentioned it. Both teams here now, Llama, have been able to take a map. Matter of fact, taking the opposition's map pick here as well. We're off to Haven, a third and decisive map. I don't know about you. I, for one, would really love to see a couple of overtime rounds as well. And something tells me that both of these teams are going to be bringing the heat. So grab yourself a quick drink, maybe grab yourself a quick snack. On the other side of this break, one more map, and we'll be deciding ourselves a champ here at the LOS Scholastic National Championships. We'll be back after a quick break.
2 maps couldn't hold them down. It is one final map to decide our 2025 Scholastic Nationals here, powered by LOS Scholastic. Once again, it's Llama77 and your boy Q up here in the booth. And Q, it has been an absolute 2-day set, and we get to end it off in the best way possible in a decider, map number 3.
You know, we had talked about at the top the potential of this thing going the distance. I know I was excited for it. We got what we asked for, and we're off to Haven, kind of an old staple, tried and true when it comes to maps here for competitive Valorant. So I can only imagine that both of these teams they at least know what they want to do when they go off to Haven. So let's see what they're looking at as far as agent composition, moving into our third and final map of our grand finals.
Of course, with the decider, we'll see Cedar Rapids starting on the defensive side, with Owasso starting on the attacking side. Interestingly enough, it's not too many changes between the two of these teams, except the one that I notice in ISO. I think Mordekaiser showcasing that they have the ability to frag out is just gonna extrapolate even more by the factor that they have that double tap shield now. It's gonna be Spetty rocking the Yoru, and they've got a great information composition. The only real difference that is gonna be on the other side would be that breach if things were locked in now.
Yeah, I feel like because of the fact that Haven is one of those more tried and true maps, it is one of the maps that we don't see too many teams really having like unique compositions on, right? Like there's enough test theories that have been done over the seasons on Haven for you to know what works, what doesn't. And you were mentioning Mordekaiser. I feel like a player that we had seen popping off on that ISO a bit over the course of that 14-hour marathon day yesterday. So we're hoping to see them do more of the same here. I think also the big thing for me for Owasso, looking at their composition, it feels like they most definitely have to make sure that they are setting the tone here on this attacking side.
They need to be. I mean, if they're not, it could set them back so much so that Cedar Rapids, we talk about a bounce back team, they went on this exact same trend in their last matchup in the semifinals. They won the first, they lost the second, and then they came in swinging to end out the third. So I think it's going to be equally important for both these two teams to come out quick. I mean, realistically, Q, this is it. There's no more stages of the tournament. This is the final map. This is it.
It's now or never for both of these teams. You didn't come this far just to simply come this far. Unfortunately for both of these teams, well, only one squad can walk away calling themselves champion. The good news is both of themselves will be walking away with at least a little bit of hardware, but I think all of us know that the competitor and each and every one of us wants to hold that biggest trophy. So the question is, who's going to be able to walk away with it? Every map starts the same old way. It's a good old Classico with mostly classics in hand. Let's go ahead and head off to the pistol round.
Final map of the day. Final opportunity to take the victory, and it's already starting with Bob Villain going for a 1-for-1. The Yorus both getting involved on kills on either side, but it's actually the Owasso Yoru who lives after the duel down mid. For Cedar Rapids, they've got a heavy presence over towards Garage, with not only LeBron James holding outside the double doors, but also 2 more members outside B. It is going to be the Cypher on the lone defense over towards A.
And they're going to have to make sure that they can do their best to delay this inevitable push, as it is actually started here on the site. Both Cespetti and Vision both have already gotten full access here, and Strong Maniac will be able to come behind them as well and now get that spike down. It will be a 4v4 on the retake. A little bit of damage has been done onto Bad Kid, but you know what, the rest of the squad still sitting on full health. Oro gonna be able to turn the corner.
One enemy
Texi gonna be able to find 4 of them things, and talk about a big round for Texi to make sure that Owasso starts off hot.
Especially on the Clove. I mean, to get the Not Dead Yet ultimate up to 4 out of 8 on those orbs, the investment is going to be so nice here from the Rams as they've earned their first round of this half and of the map. Interesting, like we said, with those double tap shields, you can really just play towards a lot of the duels, playing aggressive, playing heavy-handed here, and now with that buy, we'll get to see what the offense can do.
I think the most important thing is that they do what they have to do, which is indeed double things down, because you won the first round. You're the one walking in with Bulldogs. You got a Spectre, an Outlaw. Last thing you want to do is turn those weapons and the momentum over here. I always love it when you have that advantage. It feels like be a little bit more creative.
Spike down, attacker
However,
spawn.
having your spike carrier falling first, probably not what was exactly in the cards. The good news is Mordekaiser was right there to be able to find the trade out, gets possession of the spike as well, but now I'm sure they're kind of double thinking if they do indeed want to push through mid.
So many players watching over it, so exactly towards the point, there's so many reinforcement points that Despetti's got.
Standing ahead.
A big old scoped weaponry, the 2-shot chamber, able to put some bullets into him. Owasso starting with a player up in that re-engage. Villain though, the Sheriff is good for 1, trading their life for a resurrection.
1 enemy remaining.
Some momentum defense. We'll send in, get the double, and the headshots are beautiful.
Texi leading the way, another multi-frag round, 6 of them things in the first 2, having 7 of 8 on the ult count. You had mentioned at the end of round 1 how important it was to be so close to having that ultimate ready. It could very well be used here in round number 3, and especially in a situation where, you know, you're not going to be at the advantage anymore as far as when it comes to the rifles, because now rifles will be in hands of the Cougars players, but you've got a Bulldog, he still makes something shake with that.
Still a rifle, and still enough to do some damage. And Texi, I mean, is just 1 away from the Not Dead Yet. Could have that ultimate on board already into round number 3. For the Rams, they're going to need some sort of push to get them over this round, and maybe it's through Despetti and their Outlaw that strikes gold, finding an early kill down A long, and gonna send the fake out there as well. So the Rams starting up a player again. I mean, this is open if they choose to go through Garage.
And right now, they will only have to worry about that sliver of utility that was left behind by the Cypher here. But yeah, other than that, to push through when you've got space for days, the double tap, push on through, doesn't worry about the tripwires. Instead, goes right on by. Now they're looking for site access onto C. They've got control. Spike should be down here in just a moment. It's going to be 4v5 on the retake.
Down here, the weaponry. Betty's got double after that Outlaw, and Mordekaiser has got the duels.
One
the double
enemy
tap
remaining.
shield is broken, but so is the defense. Clarence, the only man left to fight. It's a double kill. Let's force away the ultimate. No, Not Dead Yet is not going to be popped, but Vision has got the backline shots. has got the
then
kill, and
take what's useful.
Owasso has broken things open.
You've broken things open. You've broken the economy of Cedar Rapids here. You were able to pick up 3 separate rifles, helping you stack up that cheddar even better over on the attacking side. Owasso has to be feeling good. Now, not only do you have the not dead yet dimensional drift, just 2 old orbs away, you can even say the same thing for the kill contract as well. So, I mean, cruising on their way, heading down the street in full gear, looking to try and see if they can keep that momentum going. You had mentioned before in the semifinals that we had seen this squad in yesterday. It was close through 2 maps, but as soon as they got to map 3, they busted it wide open. They're looking to do the same thing here in the grand finals.
Owasso can stop him, though. You feel like it would be right here. Map number 4, Tispetti's got a double again. Somebody stop this fellow. It's a double kill with the Outlaw. And again, the weaker buy is punished. The eco here from Cedar Rapids starting to fall apart. Dimensional drift is going to be the extra cherry on top. Information for days, just a single clove on site. And it's going to be a really tough look for LeBron James. The Outlaw looks. LeBron James still gets the kill back. And maybe that's a pickup, but all the offense is going the other way.
Yeah, you give an Outlaw back over at A while everybody else has pivoted their focus over towards C. So you're not too worried about it. Bad Kid, I was going to say, is going to miss Mordekaiser, but it's actually Mordekaiser's whose shots miss Bad Kid. So that does give Bad Kid the awareness. Probably calls out that player in Garage to those 2 teammates that are rotating back through spawn as well. You can see there. He's looking towards the doorway. It ends up being that no one's heading that way, but at least slows down the defensive push over, which just allows for the offense.
One enemy remaining.
Really lock things down the site. It's a 4th round now in a row, and they continue to cruise.
Texas playing incredible. Has that not dead yet? Still popped. 9-1-1. And it's going to force the timeout over here from Cedar Rapids. Of course, they haven't really had the resources to fight on that defensive side quite yet. They've only had the single rifle round to boot, and that one was quickly destroyed by the Outlaw. You wonder if maybe, just maybe, that Yoru upgrades the weaponry from the Outlaw to the Operator. Even though it's early, the funds have to be there from the Rams.
They definitely have the funds, and I don't want to spoil things just quite yet. I'll wait for our observer to pop on in and show you it, but it does indeed look like the op is going to be in the hands of Tispetti here, and you can understand why, right? I mean, they've been on fire. They have had 6 frags in these opening 4 rounds, but also got to think about Texi, who's been turning up in their own right, 9-1 here in these opening 4 rounds of play. I mean, it just seems like right now Owasso is completely in their bag, and Cedar Rapids is going to have to find some way to bring this train to a halt.
Need to put the brakes on it right now, and this time that is the perfect way to do it. You look at the ultimate orbs as well. 2 away for both Villain and James, 3 away for Clarence, Toro, and their Cypher as well. So they're very close, but Owasso, another round win here, could just put them further and further away from a victory. It's going to be Mordekaiser opening up with the wall, sending away has the possibility to take up that shield. The Bob Villain and Toro get 2 kills in their own right, make it 3 as Toro double kill. It's going to be through the wall. They send an extra little bit of damage correction. The spike is dropped in a long. That Operator is no longer active.
Yeah, I actually got to take that one back on the op. Tispetti tricked me right before the end, switched to the Vandal. So we'll have at least a couple more credits available in this following round than what we had initially
retrieved the spike
for. And I think that was part of the conversation I'm sure that the players were having between rounds here. The big thing is vision. Not shifting and looking for a rotation over towards BRC after picking up this fight. No. They say, you know what? We're just going to go ahead and continue trying to ram this thing down the road onto A, pushing their way through the doorway. Vision finds 1. Texi finds 2. And Vision also finds 1 as well. I guess that I just counted on one of those. The 2v2. Spike's going to go down. It could very well be a winnable round here for Owasso.
Spike planted.
Especially with Texi, who is over double-digit kills on 5 rounds in the half already. Bad Kid, though, has HP, has shield to do it. The pings are going to come through. They're smelling someone out through sewers, and the steps aren't quite heard because it's a slow walk. This is a nice little close smoke on top of everything else. Tripwires placed in sight here in case Bad Kid walks all the way around. So there's only one way to go, only one way to fight, only one way to look, and there's even a Clove ultimate to battle again through.
enemy
Another
remaining.
smoke comes in, Bad Kid hits it. There's the Clove ultimate force. Not dead yet,
remaining.
comes in, Bad Kid's got a double, holding the defuse, but Tex 4K. It kills them with the spike, but the round is the Rams.
It's a tough situation to be in. You hear the not dead yet pop, but you're still having to try and find that last player that was alive, right? Which in this case was Vision. And by the time you're able to put them down, you have no choice but to try and stick the spike, which as it turns out, there wasn't enough time to defuse anyways. But you just essentially have to sit there and hold and hope that for some reason, that final player coming back from the not dead yet, Texi, isn't able to land the shot. So unfortunately, it's now going to be a 5th round onto the board for Owasso. For a Cedar Rapid squad who surely had to have thought halfway through that round that one was secured for them, they're now going to head into what will now be one last full buy for them. And if they drop this one here, their economy's broken. Right now, their chances in map number 3 could very well be holding on the edge of the 6th round.
Now, Astron is a 5v2. You talk about momentum, Owasso, they've got it in spades. Clarence is going to watch on this dual peek through mid, and it's going to be an interesting little beat push. This time around, that scope is long on the Yoru. Can absolutely expect it to be. That scoped weaponry brought back into the fray, in towards that one-shot potential. However, for Owasso, they did spend a lot of their time deciding where to go.
They're now going to focus on C here. So, of course, C along a very long, narrow pathway. It doesn't look like they have got the information yet, so they're going to be able to really make their way towards the doorway. Bad Kid pops the cage.
It's you and me.
The little image there ends up not being actually suspended. He eventually falls as LeBron James finds the head.
30 seconds left.
3K.
One
Bob
enemy
Dylan finds
remaining.
the third.
Spike
And LeBron
down.
James
C.
trying to steal the round. The third one through the
back
wall.
up,
First one on the board here for Cedar Rapids. Kennedy.
Now we start a winning streak of
Is
our own,
insane.
eh?
Through the box, finds the angle, finds the kill, and fans the flames of victory here. As Cedar Rapids find their first round to the half, find themselves a nice little retake. Of course, for Owasso, they don't have the best economy in the world just because they have lost a ton of players, even in the rounds they are winning. But boy, are they winning. Up 5-1, a great start for them. 4 ultimates here from the Cougars. You'd expect them to use some of them to retain that round disadvantage.
Surprisingly, they didn't use any of them last round, although they did have them at disposal. Clarence just one orb away as well from there to give them the 5-for-5er, which then means they have everything at their disposal. Bad Kid trying to hold on to this push step through the Vision. Able to push them down. LeBron James tries to run it, but not
Spike
dead
down.
yet.
C.
However,
One
it will be
enemy
them
remaining.
as well as Toro, the last
Last
two left
player
alive.
standing.
LeBron James gets put down. It's a 1v1 for round number 7.
Thrown for some information. Recon Bolt is there, and maybe you can just rotate it away. Shot dart to kill him? No. Doesn't quite bounce towards the right moment. Vision is just going to play their ISO angle and dip away.
Revealing
Are you
area.
kidding me? Recon dart, the move away here, and 50 seconds left to go. Vision is just going to wrap this. No way. Plays towards the spawn side and has the timing for the 3K. Clutch up from Owasso.
What a play. We saw him make the jump up in no window, and one of your options, pivoting to B, which makes sense, right? You know someone's on C. Or you play unpredictable. You wrap right back around to C. You catch the player you're looking for from behind. Easy dubs.
This goes here.
Well, it's now a 6th round onto the board for Owasso, and just when it looked like maybe Cedar Rapids was able to start figuring out how to stop the bleeding, 2 ults having been expended, neither of which being able to get enough value to win the rounds. That's got to be frustrating, Llama.
Doesn't feel good, that's for sure. And this buy, I mean, it's a crippling buy. They don't really have the money. Shotguns, SMGs, a mix of whatever they can rack together. Owasso's guaranteed themselves a tied half. With a round win here, could guarantee themselves a winning half. And now it's how many more can you get? Sure, it's a 3-side map. We talk about offensive favored. But boy, it has just been confidence exuding from this Rams crew. And Clarence and crew, they're going to look for this little crossfire set play. But Owasso knows they have no money. They don't have the ability to take him down. And Strong Maniac just waits with patience as they earn first blood.
Finding Bad Kid on that first frag as well. The players who normally tends to lead the way as far as being able to, maybe not so much on opening picks, but when you talk about overall performance on the scoreboard, they haven't really seemed to have been able to get their momentum. And they haven't been able to get their feet under them here on Haven. As far as for Owasso now, they got to figure out which way they want to take this thing. You've been able to create a little bit of space towards the garage, as you do have two players
30 seconds
approaching
left.
that doorway, as Mordekaiser will be able to take down Clarence. That should give them the green light to push towards C. The only problem is the last remaining players from the defense are all over here.
Last
Gets
player
a flick
standing.
anyways. Vision gets another. And the defense is broken apart again. The Bucky is the only thing that remains with that
Spike
peek
planted.
across. They're all going to know where you are. Dare they peek it? No, they're just going to send a shot there to
No
earn
chance.
the entry. What a shot there. While blind from Villain has found some picks of their own. But it's not enough against the Vandals here. Rifle round success. 7 lucky rounds
One
here for
downside to be
Owasso.
tomorrow.
Also giving Cedar Rapids a taste of their own medicine when it comes to pulling away on map number 3. It mentioned how Cedar Rapids had done the same thing to Bishop Kelly in their semifinal matchup. And now as we do prepare for round number 9, there will be a full buy once more over on that Cedar Rapids side. You have 3 ults that are still available that you haven't used for a couple of rounds. It feels like at some point in time, you got to pull the trigger and just hope that you get big value.
It could be this round where it's going to be a better economical scenario than that last one, having to eco then reset. Now it's the turnaround. That Hunter's Fury, though, is up and available for Owasso and not on the other side. So that could be one that does a lot of really huge damage or just gathers a bit of information on where specific players are located inside of the site. But with the tripwire to defend on their backside, looks like Owasso's going to head down towards the A side.
It is a long trek if you do opt to go right here, and it does look like Texie and company will at least create a little bit of noise this way. Meanwhile, the spike itself is going to be carried by Strong Maniac down that short side here on A. We'll be joined together by Vision, so a 3-2 split as they do look to get a little bit of control on the site. Double tap has been popped, and a little bit of extra shield available. Bad Kid gets rid of that. Followed by one. Bad Kid does get taken away by the kill contract by two. Yeah, the neural death already put in, which means that information goes to the rest of the squad, and they clean it up. Oh, hello there, homies. And that's another round on the board here for Cedar Rapids.
I'll see it.
That was a great round, honestly. You talk about when they were going to send in that investment. It was actually the kill contract from Owasso that wanted to get some really huge value, but instead, it was this quick shutdown on C. C is one of those where you can just hack members into. There's a lot of safe nooks and crannies and up and high, low, and heaven. So, a great second round from Cedar Rapids. Let's see how many more they can get.
Let's get down to it. They need to be able to find a way to get a few of them. Here of these final 3. I feel like I'm asking for too much. 7-5, but I mean 8-4 manageable if you're able to get to that, which means you got to get 2 of these last 3. You do still have plenty of, as far as economy for most of your players here. And the good news that you had mentioned about earlier that still kind of held true for Owasso is their round wins have been rather expensive, so they aren't necessarily in the best of spot, especially if you are able to put together this round and the following. You could very well be going into that final round of the half with a low buy over on that Owasso side. Maybe 7-5 isn't too impossible.
Feel a little bit more possible now that they've been
Spike planted.
given the C site for absolutely no price. And then there's fall that early Hunter's Fury, now the Dimensional Drift. The retake is going to come through from Mordekaiser. How much patience do you have? Has it all. Okay, already. Double tap shield is broken open. But Texie's got the follow-up. And now there's a crossfire.
Last
A
player
safe
standing.
plant for C-Long. The cross is good. Strong Maniac is better. 4 survive. Owasso smash it.
Owasso
Enemies close.
have absolutely turned things up an extra notch here on Heaven. They're like, hey, we'll let you get a round. But that's it. They haven't been able to put together back-to-back rounds over on that defending side for the Cougars. well, now they're going to be in quite a bit of a predicament because they are going to be at the disadvantage here on the bye heading into round number 11, and it just feels like every round from here on out puts you in a hole that feels more insurmountable as halftime looms around the corner.
You can say offensive side all you want. Oh boy, Owasso has been playing out of their mind, especially to clean up that last map and then move it over towards this point.
Standing ahead.
Feels like stun on through is going to connect.
There they are.
Strong Maniac and crew will wait for just a little bit. They're going to rotate out. Double tap shield is gone, so important on those engagements. Won't have that heavy defensive tool, but they have left their Yoru lurking around while the rest investigate the sewers.
Push down B here. They got to worry about this trap wire that's right on the other side. Vision, of course, doesn't quite know that, but he anticipated. He'll be able to break it as a teammate with them here as well, holding that player that was right around the corner at bay. Texas will be able to come in with this alternate angle, push the bad kid away right to the crosshairs of Mordekaiser, who had back-to-back headshots. Spike goes down. It's going to be 3v4 on the retake. Let's go!
Revealing area.
Delay of time is going to force Rolling Thunder to come out. More than ever, the engagement has to be there. Mordekaiser at 3K, and it's time for another kill contract. LeBron James diced up, and even if they falter, they don't. Mordekaiser's 4K brings it over the line, and it's
Last
9
round
for
before the
Owasso.
switch.
Texie falls just before you swap into the next round because they hadn't been able to secure themselves a kill. Had that kill contract elimination came through like a second earlier, you would have been able to carry it over 3 rifles. Although I think looking at their economy, it's not really matters. There's still plenty of money in the bank. They would have been able to full buy anyway. Funny how that works out sometimes. But do they have the ability to maybe put karma on their side if you are a believer in superstitions and win this round? Where the Owasso already put themselves up a double digit. They're already finding the frags here as well. Oh, this spell is a very quick pace to end the first half, Llama.
It's going to be that not dead yet, but it does mean aggressive look here from Cedar Rapids. They need to find a killing assist on their clove, or they're just dead, and that's what it's going to be. Mordekaiser's low, Strong Maniac gets one back. It's a 3 for 2 still, and it's going to be a heavy C-side defense here where Owasso still have a neural theft up and available. They can just run it back, and they have left a member here to deal with Clarence, but Clarence, the one dealing the death.
Well, that turns it into a 2v2 here, and both players have at least one of their 2 that are left alive, sitting at relatively low HP. Mordekaiser being the one with the low HP when we talk about for Owasso, sitting on 24. It's not like Strong Maniac has too much more than that. Spike will go down, and that does officially put Cedar Rapids on the clock. Both players sitting back in that same hallway. Clarence gonna leave the charge, pushing around, and it's gonna be about who hits this first shot here.
It's all about placement now.
One enemy
But they
remaining.
didn't watch for the
Last
box
player
play.
standing.
The 4K combined
My
with
ult
the
is ready.
double kill at the end. Owasso deny the
Switching
curse
sides.
and earn themselves double digits rounds with 5 straight to start and 5 out of the last 6 to end it.
I think the big thing that really stands out to me is generally in the past for Owasso, they're at their best when Suspeti is the one that's leading the charge on the scoreboard, right? You look at this one, and while it'd be easy to say they're at the bottom of the scoreboard, I mean, everyone's definitely putting in their work. But when you think about the multi-kill rounds that we've had thus far in map number 3, Texie's had a couple. Maniac just had that one there. Mordekaiser's had a couple to their name too. It's showing that there is no weak link to this Owasso squad, and there's a reason they're here in the grand finals, just 3 rounds away from being crowned champion.
Both these 2 teams state champions in their own right. They had to earn their way to even make it towards this grand final, and both of them took a map to start it off. But it's got to be Cedar Rapids on this attacking side. Pistol would help if they could take it. B is such a tough crossfire to actually enter into, especially with that close smoke guarding off the entryway. It's going to be a backup, but do they know there's a so Strong Maniac could end the round with their patience, but no, swings out, gets a little bit over aggressive, and it's a 5v3 in favor of the Cougars.
I can't tell if I want to call that an overheat or just an over-aggressive push. I mean, definitely felt like they could have sat in that corner and allowed the offense to come to them. Unfortunately, that will put the rest of the team into a 3v5 scenario. Texi and Spetti both finding one. Spetti finds the third. It's a 2v2. Texi leads it all down to Bad Kid, who's put down by Vision. And just like that, it's round 11 on the board for Owasso.
They can't keep getting away with this. They truly cannot keep getting away with this, right? I mean, like, how many times have we seen them down members? We're like, surely it's impossible in a 3v5. And they step up, they turn the tide, and oh lord, Tespetti has got that outlaw nightmares creeping back into the mindset for Cedar Rapids.
There's most definitely a sign of just how much Owasso seems to be feeling themselves. They've been vibing high and everyone popping off, and now just 2 rounds away. And here in round number 14, it's just a stinger buy over on that Cedar Rapids side. So they're able to catch people in short corridors. Maybe you can say that Cedar Rapids does have a small advantage with the way that you can kind of run and gun just a little bit with those stingers. But otherwise, when you think about these longer sight lines like we're seeing here from Tespetti, you can hold them all for the simple couple of pop shots with the outlaw.
Time to jump.
Just play smartly. He's gonna send the teleport all the way back almost to the spawn side, and that's where it will run to for now. Tespetti repositions. That drone gathered information, but do they predict that there's still one man lying in wait that could disrupt their whole game plan? There's a lot of space gained through Garage. Bob Dylan, don't hate it here. Spray down, earns them a kill, and now it's just 2 left on the side.
Well, Bob Dylan going to be able to find a second here as well, so that means sight has been secured. No, wait, hold on a second. Mordekaiser has other things in mind. Tespetti going to be able to find a pair, which means Mordekaiser with the Spectre hand, last one left alive. It's going to be an attacker round 1 as Toro puts him down.
They send in the investment, and it works out for Cedar Rapids. It'll break everything Owasso wanted to do. Sure, they're still 2 rounds away from victory, and you can't falter against these sheriffs. But a great call, a great push through Garage, and an overall utilization of the space they were given. Now for Owasso, what's your answer? I mean, you've got these sheriffs, you've got pistols, but you're still the ones in a +8 round differential in this map.
Yeah, I think if you're Owasso, you're not really having any concerns just quite yet, right? I mean, hey, you lose a round here and there. Unfortunately, with it being where it was in the second half, it's not like you can say it was used that he got a man second half into the first half. Mexico might be able to jump up here with a right click. Not quite going to be able to find it. Gets a little bit of damage, but at the end of the day,
Last
I don't
player
necessarily expect to win this round. You just hope to try to make it expensive. You took Bad Kid down. Maybe if you're lucky, you're able to find a second one. Bob Dylan ends up being the victim. Hold on
Fake
just a second.
teleport.
Maybe Spetti can make some magic happen.
Clone does not block enough, and Clarence gets the shot through them both, and it lands for a headshot. So a great little back-to-back here now will be the round where rifles will start to fly out here from Owasso. It does mean Cedar Rapids, because of the weird turn of events,
need a
they'll
drop.
have some rifles in their own right. 5K in the inventory for Toro, possibly trying to save some into that next round just in case they do lose. But there are 2 ultimates on board, and they're the exact same one, just on different sides.
Dimensional drift for dimensional drift. Let's see who uses what and who's going to be able to get what sort of value out of there. Is that Recon Bolt not going to be able to pick up any sort of information? Fired down A, which looks like gives Cedar Rapids a little bit of a false sense of security that they should indeed be okay to come in down with a slow approach. While Strong Maniac backs down after their location has been given. I don't know if they realize that Tespetti is also there. LeBron James peeks around the corner, and for good reason, will fall back. And because of that resistance that has been found over towards A, the spike itself pivoting towards Garage.
That little jump peek for information, though. Even as it goes towards Garage, Bob wants to go even further forward and try and gain some sort of traction. Tespetti just wrapped all the way around, took him down. And now it's a player down for the other way. Bad Kid trades up the ciphers, and the agent-on-agent violence continues. The flame will go down here. Owasso, though, is going to go in very quick for the re-engage.
Dimensional drift will be used to gather as much information on site as possible. Also adds another entry lane here. The only problem is both Clarence and LeBron James have been able to take down players, which means as much as Spetty able to get information, it's only them and Texi to try and make something happen.
Last
Texi
player
through,
standing.
finds one. Texi or Spetty also finding one. Spetty in a 1v2, but unfortunately it's 5 HP and a dream. Knows that Clarence is behind the box, but when you step too far forward, you also have to worry about Bad Kid, who will be able to put him down, and that's another round here for Cedar Rapids.
Not gonna lie, I am still baffled at that jump play. Texi jumps over the tripwire and still gets one on top of it. It is another Cedar Rapids round. They've gone 3 in a row. This is exactly what we wanted to see from them. A battle back to showcase what they've got in the talent section. Now Owasso, questions start to arise. I mean, you've still got a lot of rounds, but you've said it before, Q, when you're that team that hits 11 first, there's a lot of pressure that goes on your shoulders.
At this point here, the last thing that you want is to continue to give over momentum in that Cedar Rapids side, especially if it continues to be round after round. I think 3 in a row you're not quite worried about, but 3 should turn to 4 with the fact that we do see that sheet go by over on the Owasso side. Though, the way that we've seen these kids shooting through the weekend and with the sort of fight that Sheriff comes with, you still could very well turn things around, but not if Toro's to be able to open things up against the Spetty.
Focusing where to lose. Spetty has been so critical. Just the clutch factor in those late post plans. And it is a post plan. It's a 4v5 here. Sheriffs and whatever you can muster. Guys are 1-for-1 trade.
Last player
Take down
standing.
vision before they can get anything super big. Toro's already got a 3K, and Texi is just hoping they can find something. But as Clarence's headshot that ends it, helps build up the ultimate orbs even more. And Cedar Rapids now 4 straight rounds.
We need more from Cedar Rapids here is the unfortunate thing, which is hard to ask for when it seems like they've already been performing so well here since the turn at the half. But it's just the reality of the situation that they've played themselves into. Just one single round for Owasso, then in turn puts them on championship point. And right now, you're only sitting at 6 here. The good news is they've got 3 ult available heading into this next round. You got the dimensional drift.
I have the
not
spike.
dead yet. You've also got that rolling thunder available as well. And since you're the squad with the spike, that's a lot of utility that can give you that ability to take over one of these 3 locations.
And you get to choose where to go as well. I mean, especially just knowing that your opponents are going to have to split up into a pretty even set on either side. Of course, there's not 6 players in a VALORANT match, so you can't go 2-2-2. But you can set up in that 2-2-1, and it's often what we see from the defensive side. For Owasso, they've got 2 tripwires set up on both entrances towards the A site. But the Aldrone is going to clear out everything through window.
Question is, with seeing nothing there, does nothing tell you everything, or does nothing indeed tell you nothing? I mean, it does look like they're still defaulted back a little bit, looking to pivot, try and rotate this thing over towards A. That could let off a couple of shots, see what's returned in exchange. Realizing that, we'll back down to get with the rest of the squad. It's 37 seconds at this point. Bob Villain over the tripwire, going to be able to call that out to their teammates as well. Location of the Sova has been
30
found.
seconds
Clarence
left.
finds things over the opening.
James back to life, but Vision
Spike
is
down,
playing
A.
down. Playing together,
One
LeBron James
enemy
gets one
remaining.
back. Texi, Mordekaiser, both involved in the killing. And time for the Thunderdome. The villain against the man, Mordekaiser, who earns their 3K. The round and the championship point for the
Match
Rams.
points.
We talked about the situation they were in, Llama. One round does indeed put Owasso on a championship point, and there indeed lies the problem. After that round loss, you can't help but imagine for Cedar Rapids that they were going to pull the timeout here, and that's exactly what they're going to do. The good news is because you came in off the back of 4 rounds in a row, you have plenty of money in the bank. You'll be able to fully invest into round 19, but you're going to have to do it for round 19, 20, 21. You get what I'm saying. You're going to have to push this thing 6 straight rounds just to force an overtime.
A lot of rounds. That's a lot of winning. Cedar Rapids, of course, when you look back, to yesterday, even before we started out that group stage, it was Cedar Rapids, the second overall team in terms of Valorant average rank. Owasso wasn't even in the top 4, not even in the top 5. The 6th-seeded in-ranked team comes swinging through group stage, and that's even saying something that they were in a 3-way tie for 2-1. It was highly possible they got a higher seed than they did, and now they're here. One more round to seal the deal. Cedar Rapids have to play perfection.
See if they can indeed be perfect for 6 straight rounds. That is a heck of a mountain to climb. Not even when you look at the lead that Owasso built, were they able to do so with that many rounds in a row. Just to kind of put in perspective what's on the plate as a challenge. Mordecai's playing so aggressive all the way down short. Going to be able to find that opening. Pick up LeBron James as well. Just Betty finding one. Clarence will be able to put down Mordekaiser, so it does put the numbers a little bit more favorable. 3 left players standing here for Cedar Rapids. All have their ult available.
Go though. I mean, it is time aplenty, but players not so much. You would hate to lose the championship with 3 ultimates in your back pocket. You want to use something to get yourself over the line, and bad kid. Oh, Texie double fakes. It's the headshot that equalizes everything out.
I know exactly where
Who's
you
watching
are.
the Watchers? The Cypher upload from the Neural Theft will give them some information. This is 45 seconds left. Flash out. Kill goes to Bad Kid. And now it's very much doable. They've got the site. They've got the plant on A.
Spike's going down. They're going to turn this corner and be able to take down Bad Kid.
hiding?
And now the good news is they had that neural theft available. The bad news is, well, it should have given you the information that you already knew. Both of those players left already over here on site. Them going to retreat back to long as well, as that is what the spike is planted for. Strong Maniac going to turn the corner. No one bold enough just quite yet to keep their head on out. He's going to see the Rolling Thunder. Tries to prevent the first, the recon bolt. Be able to give away some information. They're baiting out all of the utility. Strong Maniac trying to find a way to hold it down for their teammate, but Vision will fall. Strong Maniac needs to just hold this spike, pushing forward as Clarence, and living to see another round is Cedar Rapids.
Lose clearance just by the nick of time on the edge of the spike explosion. But that was a lovely round, don't get me wrong. That was a great play together. You saw Bad Kid play a perfect timing through mid, but you used 2 of those ultimates as well. That investment, it will put Owasso back down to an eco buy. But those eco buys, they scare me, because it can be a round where you play a little bit overconfident. And as we said, all the Rams need is 1.
And plus, at this point, if you are Owasso, you're kind of playing with house money, thanks to the fact that you have a 5-round lead. In a lower buy like this, you want to play a little bit aggressive, try and catch them off guard. Hey, guess what? You lose the round. You still have 4 more while you're sitting on championship points. They've allotted themselves that kind of extra creativity if they do opt to play that way. Instead, it's a more slow and controlled approach. They're slowly peeking through mid here is LeBron James. When you look over on the side of Cedar Rapids, trying to see if they can find any sort of information given away from Owasso. And instead, Owasso, all piled up together here on A, you only have Vision over towards C. They're not giving anything for free.
I like it. You really play close to the vest here and play off this Vision lurk. Who's going to check it? Who's going to be the first one to try and put the body on the line as reinforcements come through? The play is too slow for Cedar Rapids. They haven't quite made it through the garage. It finally looks, but it's too late. Vision and this go round. Surely not like this. A stun comes in. The spike there, looking the wrong way. The spike down. Strong Maniac's got it. And Texie's back from the light. It's LeBron James. 5 HP, but that dream is still living, still flowing, and still going.
Oh, it's just Betty had LeBron James right around the corner, didn't peek in time. It allows for LeBron James to fall on back. Good news here for Owasso. They don't need to push the issue. They got the location of the spike. The last 2 frags come down, and it's Owasso, after dropping map number 1, able to be crowned champions here in our LOS Scholastic National Championship for Valorant.
The championship is coming home to Oklahoma as they reign successful. Mordekaiser, Texie, both earning a 20 bomb. And it was one heck of a series. You talk about the reverse sweep. They couldn't do it without every single member of their team. And Q, what a set of 2 days. We had 14 hours of Valorant yesterday, 4-ish hours of Valorant here today, and we get to finally crown a champion. But all 8 of these schools that came out and showed their hearts out gave us the best action I've ever seen.
Yeah, we had ourselves a banging pair of days here when it comes to Scholastic Valorant. As I know, at least for me, I can say that I know you also cast quite a bit of Scholastic across the nation here. It just kind of goes to show the development of that Scholastic level. When you look back even just a couple of years ago, it was all about what team had like a good 2 or 3 players. Now, when you look at the 8 schools that are here, like every roster was absolutely stacked. I love to see it.
And that's what's so beautiful about the LOS portal. I mean, getting some of these teams not only grouped together for their high school play, which, by the way, League OS hosts 600 different events from time to time with collegiate, with high school, with everything. 50,000 players, by the way, on the platform. So there's that competition of each other between the players, but there's also collegiate recruiting. There's opportunity for these extra events as well. So seeing all these players get to play under this platform is awesome. And who knows, maybe you out there could be the next one up on this stage.
Got to get involved in LOS, man. Right now, 2 times a year, taking those top 100 players and bringing them to play together and in front of, potential college scouts and people who are looking to bring on new talent to their programs. I mean, what more could you really ask for? Also, got to make sure we're giving a big shout out to HyperX, hooking up our students with some more extra swag for the weekend here as well. Llama, always an absolute blast being able to jump on the desk with you and be able to cast, whether it's Valorant or any of the other titles that you and I work together. But of course, we always say we have the easy job. We got to make sure we're giving a big shout out to everyone working behind the scene, our observers, whether it's our director, Cookies, as well as our observers who are also helping in the background too, our admin who help make sure that game days go as smooth as possible. Y'all are the true MVPs. If it's your first time through over here on whether it's the Twitch or the YouTube, make sure you hit that follow button down below, turn those notifications on. That way we can catch y'all back when we get ready to go live for the 2025-2026 season. And we aren't done as far as on the day. It's going to do it all for us for now, but we're getting ready to send you over for some Super Smash Brothers action. So make sure that you're staying tuned. But that will do it for Llama and I. And until we catch y'all back for the next one, man, don't forget, with everything crazy going on in the world today, be true, be you, be sincere. Game hard and love hard. All right, y'all. That's Llama. I'm Q. For the rest of the crew from the front to the back, y'all have a great rest of your week. Peace.
We've got Warriors.